Hello, 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 everybody. Good evening. Boa noite, galera. Salve, salve aí. Hoje tem surpresa, hein? O que vocês acham que vai acontecer? What do you guys think is going to happen? We have a special guest with us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Look at that. His voice. I mean, somebody told him he has a Hollywood voice. Is that right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here we go. Boa noite, todo mundo aí, ó. Greg West, the man that made it rain.
No. I'm the man talking about rain. They're about, oh my gosh, we have a number. Greg Hill, who's the executive producer of iRacing, my boss, he added it up like a month ago. I think there was like 65 people that were directly involved with rain that did significantly more than I did.
No, I mean,
There's a lot of
obviously,
people that made it
I'm
rain.
saying tonight you're making it rain. So, for us.
Tony,
Yes?
dá ganho de voz no Greg aí que tá baixo o chat, por favor.
Okay, let me Greg's voice. Greg, speak up a bit. Let me see. No? You're
Too quiet?
Yeah, here we go.
Turn myself
Salve
up?
Tony. 28 meses.
What a
Let's
big
go
dog.
race in the rain.
All right. So, as you guys seen, we post a few videos. We had some fun this week, but tonight, just making sure, Greg, you will answer some questions, correct?
Yep.
Ok. Gente, o Greg vai responder algumas perguntas aí, o Barretinho dá uma traduzida, até parece. E é isso. So we're gonna obviously I'm gonna open the stream. I might leave on this camera if you guys want. Gente, acho melhor deixar nessa aqui, né? How do I like the rain testing that I did? Release notes, Greg. When is coming out? They want to know.
Release notes. Ooh, I think they're going to be later tonight or tomorrow morning. We're packing a lot into this build. I think they're just getting updated with the latest details as we speak. I'm sure there's an email about that, but as we talked earlier, I just got off a plane, so I'm looking now.
So we're gonna show you guys a little bit whatever you guys actually. Greg's gonna suggest some. We're gonna play some that we think it's fun. And in the meantime, while I'm driving, Greg can answer some questions. Galera, the Brazilian people, guys, o pessoal do Brasil, a gente vai tentar responder o máximo em português e inglês, ao respeito ao Greg que deu essa oportunidade para nós. Vai ser um pouquinho mais em inglês, beleza? E qualquer coisa aí, o Barretinho também, Barretinho, você pode escrever aí no chat,
Tá com
né?
nós.
So
The only Portuguese I know is because when I was in high school, my doubles partner was Brazilian, and the words he taught me are not ones we're going to use on the
No,
stream.
you're probably correct. Yes. Probably. Well, although I use them all the time, but. All right, Greg. What do you want? What should we do first?
Ask
I mean,
chat. Everything's
chat.
fair game. I just had the the discussion with our team. Like, well, it's going out tomorrow. There's nothing to hide because everybody's going to have it. So if it's got rain, let's do it. What people want to see is what we should do. Everything is fair game tonight.
Oh, que carro. LMP2 Road America in the rain.
Send
Okay,
it.
that was the first one. Let's send it. So, Greg, help me here. So we're going to do a race roaster. No.
What do you want to? What do you want to do?
Just let's do an
test?
open session for now, a test, and then we'll go do a race
Right,
for sure.
Home, top left corner.
Yeah.
And then
Test drive.
Yep, test drive, and then you can set it up. I'm watching on the Twitch stream, so it's a couple second delay here.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna try. Let's do the Porsche. I didn't buy half of the thing because Greg doesn't give me any money, so I have
That's
to
not
like.
true. That's not true.
That's not true. I'm
That's
probably
that's not true.
the richest person in iRacing, but here we go. Porsche. Oh, NMP2. Sorry. I mean, what the hell?
You can go Delara.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Muito legal fazer isso e mando inglês para o
You put
povo
a K
aí.
in there.
Here we go. Solara.
Oh,
We're gonna have to buy the track, but
But yeah, everything's fair game tonight. So I would ask everybody to put your questions in chat. Me and Tony and Carlos, I put together a big long FAQ. I'd like to get through a lot of it tonight, but I want to know what your guys' questions are. We've been watching social media for the last couple of weeks and just writing down whenever we see, hey, that's a really good question. And tonight's a night we're going to go through and try to answer as many as we can.
So, Greg, moderate range, that's good. We want to
Yeah, I
do,
think
yeah.
moderate's good. We saw during, when
Yes.
your guys' test, I thought you were going to have to build an arc at one point.
No, but also
Looking-
that was good because for people that saw that video, check it out on our YouTube. iRacing has it. Matt Malone, all the ambassadors. Um, that was the worst conditions you can possibly have. And in the real life, I would say that would actually IMSA would have not started that race. So, but it was good for us to try.
Yeah, and that stuff, I mean, while
Oi.
technically possible in the roll of the dice using realistic weather, I would say highly improbable that you would race in those conditions.
Right.
Our system's built around realistic weather, that is realistic for that area. I'm seeing some questions in chat about it. iRacing's basically a big almanac at this point. So you can't just put in like August 7th, 1978 and get that weather, but you would get weather that would be reasonable for August 7th, 1978. When people want to go back and recreate things, historic races or whatnot, especially as more cars get rain tires, you will have the ability to customize the weather however you want using the timeline feature, where you get to play God. It will do what you want. But for the most part, for our series that are going to be our regular racing series, you're going to see just realistic weather. But it can rain in the open series. It can rain in the fixed series. Rain tires are like brake bias in the fixed series. You'll be able to change your tire compound as well. So you're going to have to use your resources in all forms of racing on iRacing.
Thanks for the sub, Caipira. Obrigado pelo sub. Oia, Uai, obrigado pelo sub. Guys, so Greg, we're going to do a few laps. You can answer it. I know people, the biggest question is going to be the FPS, among other things. So I'll let you, while, guys, let me see if I have. So, you guys, we did such a good job. The whole iRacing team posting that you guys probably saw it, but obviously you go wet, dry here. I actually have a question, Greg, and I don't know if you're gonna be able. I meant to ask you and I forgot. If you're in the middle of the race and it's forecast to rain, we actually are giving people tips here that if you say it's gonna rain, don't wait for the water because I'm gonna show you guys on the sleek tire. You guys watch Jimmy Broadbent on the slick tire in a wet track, you can't drive it. And you pit. How do you change tires on a pit stop? Do you know?
So it's the same as if you were driving like the IndyCar or the W13. You have a
Okay.
drop down in that black box. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the F5 menu? I believe, maybe off the top of my head, F4, F5, something like that. And you can just drop down and select wet or dry tires. And your crew chief is going to be reminding you. It's like
Right.
basically going to be like, "Yo, bro, you want to put on the wet tires?"
Right.
Like he's going to be very adamant. You're not going to go in there and say, "Oh, I forgot. No one told me." In fact, if you scroll over to that, I think it's the F5 box right now. I think you'll be able to see it. It's F4, F5. I can't remember. I'm just watching
Here
the
we
stream
go.
right now.
Driver page.
Yeah, your tire page. Go to the tire page. Keep going.
Here we go. Oh, here you go. Wet
Yep,
or dry. See?
that's where you do it.
So one thing on the windshield wiper, guys, you're gonna have it on the options there, like the outer blip. But you can also have it on the button. So look, see when you hit the puddle, you don't want to drive on the white line, and you don't want to drive on the race line either.
And that's something I really would like to talk about tonight. You've touched on it a couple of times in your streams. Define what is the wet line. I think that's going to be the biggest difficulty we as iRacing are going to have is
Bastante
to
som.
teach people
Calma, calma, Carlos.
what that is. If you drive it like video game rain, you're going to really struggle. You can't brake in the rubbered in areas. You can't make heavy turns in the rubbered in areas. You definitely can't do anything on the paint because the paint's slick as snot. But Tony, you did a really good job. I was watching one of your videos on the plane today, and you did a really good job talking about turning the corner into a triangle.
Right.
So I'd love you to elaborate on that.
I I don't want to preach anything here, but it was funny because Malone didn't know, right? So basically, I'll drive slow, guys, so I can explain to you guys. So the race line, this is the race line, right? Obviously, you have the puddles, so you have the white line, but why do we say we rubber the track on a dry condition? Because you drive in a race line, and the more cars you drive in the track, the more you rubber with your tire in the asphalt, right? And that's why your tires wear. So by doing that, it becomes more grip because you have more rubber on top of the asphalt. You put a new tire, you're going quicker. Well, when it rains, that rubber on basically the race line, it becomes much slipperier because that rubber is not as sticky because it's rainy and is wet, and becomes like paint. So basically, the race line becomes slipperier than the outside line because there is more quote unquote asphalt off the racing line because there is not enough rubber. But basically, that's why. So when you go drive and you try to brake on a rubber track on the race line, there is always more rubber regardless, even if the track is like we call the track green. Look, see, like you cannot stop. So basically here, my percentage of my direct drive is so heavy. So here, nah, it's okay. So when you come up the hill here, especially, you probably brake a lot easier here. But like in some of the corners, I was saying, it doesn't apply to all the corners that you have to. Plus the racetrack, some corners rubber more than the others, right? So that is something that we're still developing on iRacing. Here the track is a consistent track with the surface and rubber and so on, but like, so basically sometimes on a corner like this one, like kind of like a hairpin, you don't need to, so you brake on the inside, but instead to go like and try to cross all the way here to come back, you can keep it tight, and basically I'll show you guys the next lap. But and here for instance, you just keep on the outside, and then you try to cross it basically. See? Now, in this track, in the kink, you have no choice. You just gotta pray. See? And that's it. It's one of the most difficult corners that I've ever raced. And here you try to avoid the puddles. But then look, the braking zone here, you're gonna try to...
And I can elaborate a little bit more on, talk about just the rubbered in areas that people have been driving on and the rubber that's been put down, but it goes back to the fact that all the tracks in iRacing are laser skating. And because of that, we can see in the data that there are certain areas of the track where a lot of the main racing line where there's been a lot of traffic is more polished or been smoothed out just because so many cars have driven on it. So you don't have the that roughness to the track. So if you getting out of the racing line, not only are you getting out of the rubber, but you're getting onto a rougher portion of the asphalt that is in the wet, going to allow your tires to be have a little more grip because it's more abrasive out there. So it's a double-edged sword. It's not just the rubbered in areas, but it's also utilizing the extra roughness of those parts of the track that aren't normally driven on and aren't as worn down. So it's a couple things to keep in mind, and that's why it's really important, and Tony can speak more to this from a real world perspective, but on iRacing, you're going to need to approach each lap with a really curious mind, because how do I say this? It's going to change constantly because you have the rubbered in areas, you've got the rough portions of the track, but also the water levels are dynamic.
Right.
And every lap is going to be a little bit different.
The more cars you have, if they go, you might not have the same puddle you had, depending how much is raining or less raining or more raining, right? So that is what's happening in real life. Like you see the tracks getting better or worse, and some laps are like 3 seconds off or faster or slower, and you can't understand. That's why it's so difficult every time you drive in the rain, because again, it doesn't rain the same amount every lap. The track, some of the tracks, some places dry quicker than the other. They have better drainage. So, 1 second, guys. Greg, how do I take I have double gears here because one is I need to probably just turn my caps off. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. Here we go. So now you guys can see my brakes and everything else, right? And then what? You guys can see my brakes? Yeah. Here we go.
Correr de camisa branca na chuva mostra as tetolas.
Mostra
Boa noite,
da tua mãe.
Tony Kanaan 95 salame.
Now, FPS, do we want to talk about... So guys,
Yeah.
just so you guys know, my PC, it's a 4090, obviously the whole 9, but my graphics are maxed. Like, Greg, I have everything on. Like,
O que mais escorrega essa posta na chuva ou no quiabo?
no, like, you know, I'm not saving anything, obviously. And right now I'm 235, 236. So, but you can talk about it more.
Yeah, so we designed the rain around our minimum specs for PCs that already existed. Really, surprisingly, rain doesn't affect performance that much. Maybe a 10% decrease in FPS on the really extreme end for somebody that has a really, really low end PC. That's like a minimum spec PC may see about 10%. Results may vary. I mean, there are just so many graphic card and CPU combinations out there. We have our QA team has a lot of resources to try different combinations. I'm sure we've missed some along the way, but one of the major pillars of this development was to be minimally impactful on FPS. So will you see a small dip? Yeah, there's a lot more particles on the screen, but is it something that's just going to absolutely cause you to have to go buy a 4090? Absolutely not. Your PC, if you were already driving on iRacing, I think you're going to be just fine.
Guys, if we're here. One thing I'm gonna show you guys, when you get to the grass, you can get stuck. So don't think like, look, if you
I got stuck driving the Super Formula Light the other day in Misano. Oh yeah, I was on the phone with you right afterwards. Like,
yeah.
Dude, I got stuck in the mud. Absolutely got stuck in the mud. It was hilarious. I love it. Some people are gonna probably be really angry, but it was one of the happiest things that's happened to me at iRacing.
I'll show you guys. You can really get stuck. Português
Tem uma
também,
pergunta em
gente.
Português.
Fala.
Tem uma pergunta ali. Eu até conversei com ele off sobre isso, ia ser responder, mas vou deixar você perguntar. Como que vai ser o cálculo do safety rate na chuva, se vai ter alguma mudança ou não?
Look at that. Let's see, it doesn't stop. Greg, safety rating. Look, I'm stuck, guys. Oh. So you gotta go like. So if you don't, so you gotta like probably try to back up a bit.
Looks like your car is toast according to your spotters.
It is toast, but like, look, you can try. You still look. If you're gonna have to like, look. I'm stuck, so you have to tow. Safety rating, Greg. Are you guys? I don't know if you can talk about that, yeah or no. But
Yeah.
Is it changing for the rain?
So it's not.
No.
We're going to release. We're going to release with it how it is, and we're just going to pay attention. We're
Okay.
open-minded, But I think the community feedback is going to be very important when it comes to that. But we are open-minded and we're listening. Week 13 is going to be very interesting. We just released the schedule today. It is going to be very wet. There will be plenty of time to go out there and just get absolutely massacred in the rain. A lot of fun, unofficial series. I don't even think we're running an official series with it.
Oh,
Thinking
really? No?
right now.
Okay. Let me translate
Just
to the
because.
Brazilians real quick. So, guys, não vai mudar ainda o safety rating. Eles estão de cabeça aberta para poder realmente ver como é que vai ser essa semana 13 aí. E talvez não tenha nenhuma corrida oficial. Às vezes tinha 2 ou 3, não vai ter nenhuma. Sorry, Greg, go ahead. I was just they were
No, you're
asking.
fine. You're fine. So no, we are going to keep the safety rating how it is, but we definitely are open to feedback. We don't want to make it. We don't want to make it so people can just dive bomb and feel like, oh, it's wet, so there's no consequences. So that's why we're, I think, slow playing any type of update in that area, and we may not make any changes. Like I said, our plan at release, we're not making any changes. But if it becomes very, very apparent, we'll look into what the best options are. We've already tossed the ball around a little bit on different ways we could do that if it was necessary. But I think the big thing is we need to get this in the hands of people. I would say there's probably 150 people that have driven rain in the entire world on iRacing at this point, between our developers, our alpha test group, and the influencers that have had the opportunity. We have 250,000 members. We're going to get more feedback in the first hour after we release this than we got during all of our testing. And so that's the big thing, is we just need to listen to the community, and react accordingly, or maybe don't react accordingly. So we'll see.
So I'm gonna create a quick race, guys, at Road America where we just were, so you guys can see what we're talking about, the spray and everything, because that would be interesting, right?
Yeah, that would be good to talk about, because the
So this is
spray is
also
intense.
right. This is also the new. It will be the new AI, right, Greg? That you can choose. I'll show them the weather a little bit, how you
Yep.
can. Galera, é o seguinte, ó, isso aqui vai ser a plataforma hoje.
today.
Valeu, velho. It will be the range available today, not today. Não vai ser hoje, gente. Gente, obrigado. Cauê, obrigado pelo. Dudu, obrigado pelo sub. Cauê, obrigado pelo sub. Galera, eu vou pedir um favor para vocês. Vamos fazer as perguntas relacionadas à live, tá? E o pessoal que tá reclamando aí, se vai ser em inglês, só a gente fez 4 anos de live só em português. Uma oportunidade muito legal de vocês estarem assistindo aqui um negócio que é inédito, ninguém tá fazendo live agora. Então dá uma colaborada aí. Porque eu não tenho muita paciência, esse é o problema. O Barreto vai me perturbar e aí eu vou ficar puto. Que tudo bem. Vocês podem falar, tá putinho e tal. Mas, entendeu? Por favor. Okay, so here, so you create, so I say the morning, then you go weather, right? So it says heavy rain, but basically you can choose, right, Greg? Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, because obviously I'm also new to this, but basically you're gonna go here. You can, obviously the temperature can go auto, but then you can choose, if it's gonna be clear, and then straight to rain. How strong you want the wind direction and everything else. Actually, I never did this. How do I clear this now? I don't know.
I can't really see where you're at. Your head's in
Oh,
the way
sorry.
on
Yeah,
the Twitch
it's
stream.
hold on. Yeah. I put it clear here. I want to take that off. I think it's no. Well, let's go back. Might be able. Yes, here we go. Back to it. Basically, when you create an AI race, you can see, like, I'm just gonna leave heavy rain. Eu vou deixar aqui, ó, vai chover o tempo inteiro. Might just go straight to the race. 15 minutes. Okay.
I think you changed your car. It's asking to update. I think you need to select the correct car.
No, here I don't know why.
And just so everybody knows, Tony's streaming from our alpha test environment right now.
Right.
So there are probably a couple of things that are still work in progress in this version of the build. Everything is being polished up before it gets shipped out tomorrow. So if there's little oddities, that's what it was. You have the GT3s in there as the AI.
So I'll take them all out.
Boa
Right.
noite, Tony.
Hit
Bora
back.
molhar os pneus.
Luiz, obrigado. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a couple
Sorry.
seconds
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah. I know.
And then you see where it says Delara P217. Or sorry, no. You have your that drop down that you have the TK AI opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Click that drop down, and you should be able to see Delara P217. Click on that.
Okay. Now I need to add them, right? Because there's only one, or no? Oh no, number of driver. Here you go. It's only one car. So let's put how many? Let's put 20 guys. Let's raise this to skill spread from. I don't know. I never really. Oh, look at that, cheaters!
Go to like 80 to 99 is always a sweet spot for me.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. Here we go.
And you're faster than I am.
Grid position. Now let's start dead last.
Last to first challenge.
Ugh. Okay, let's do this. Somebody asked the. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Go on.
I saw an interesting question.
I see one here. Will there be rogue clouds in a situation where it's raining
Yep.
in just one or a few corners? Yeah, it's the places that's going to really show off are places like the Nürburgring, Spa, Le Mans, really big tracks. It absolutely will be, has the opportunity to be dry, completely dry in one section of the track and torrential rain in the other section of the track. And that is going to be, that is going to be an interesting thing for you to navigate as a driver and make those decisions. Am I staying on dry? Do I need to go to wet? Is the track, and that'll make some of those races a lot more interesting. Gone are the days where, longer races in iRacing can become a time trial, after the field spreads out, because things are going to change, and how you react to those changes is going to be very important.
Wow, better check the weather. Here we go. I think it's gonna rain.
Yeah, I'm getting my umbrella out.
Can we, on a fixed setup, are we gonna let people work with traction control and bars, or still be the same?
For the fixed setups, we've made just a company decision. You have brake bias that is adjustable to you. There's so many people in iRacing that just want fixed setups. Brake bias, you really need the ability to adjust that if you have, say, you don't have load cell pedal, or people that do have a load cell pedal. We have this guy on our staff, Seth. He's one of the guys that he does a lot of stuff for us. Updates the public site and works in forums. He is very, very, very quick. He loves GT1, GT2 racing, by the way. He's the reason you guys got new damage models. He kept pestering me about it. But he doesn't have a load cell brake. Tony, you just killed that man. And his brake bias settings are so much different than maybe the vehicle production associates that all have these nice, fancy, load cell brake pedals. And it's just really interesting to see the differences between how he has to run the car versus how the other guys have to. So that's the reason we leave brake bias open in fixed setup racing. But it's one of our core principles is for fixed setup racing, we really want it to be just the driver versus the car, and driver versus the track.
Welcome, Raiders. Casey, thank you. I hope you guys enjoy. You just saw my best performance. I was paying attention to Greg, didn't start the race, and we'll do a better job, I promise. Welcome, everyone. It was a big one. I got stuck. Casey and I, Greg, we're doing this thing. Guys, I don't think Casey needs an introduction, but if you don't know him, he's one of to me one of the best sim racers out there, especially on iRacing. He does, so NASCAR champion, and so he was bragging about, not bragging, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be terrible in the rain, this and that." And we did this recording the other day, and he was quicker than me for quite a while. So Casey, thank you. Welcome everyone. The spray, and I can't see anything. Oh man.
Let's talk about it though. I mean, is that what it feels like?
Oh, 100%. I mean, when on this track, for instance, you look left and right, you don't really, like, you can't see anything straight. The only thing I would say, which we comment this, that we're probably gonna need to work a little bit more on the rain lights, right, Greg?
Yep. Yeah. That's
and the brake lights.
top of mind. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I've seen that moves from some of your IndyCar compatriots.
Yep. No, I've done it before too, but this is so real, guys. I mean, this is the way it is. If you don't start in the top 4, you're in trouble. And then the AI actually, look, they know the line too, so it's not like, and then if you try to go, look, I can't really go on the inside. It's at least try to see it, but
Now our AI knows how to race in the rain. Nigel, Alex, and Brent had to go and look at every track and really had to teach the AI what racing in the rain was like. And it's been pretty cool to see how far it's come. But I saw a comment in chat just a little while ago. iRacing AI is no joke. No, they're cheeky little guys, and that isn't changing. They definitely will race you. There's no easy way around them. They're not going to they're not just going to let you by. You're going to have to earn it to get by the AI. I think it's one of the really unsung features of iRacing is how good the AI is.
you guys can see, I mean, I'm not doing this. I mean, I'm having a hard time. Obviously, my wheel is a little bent, but I'm not stopping. It hasn't not giving me a meatball, so.
What would be really cool, TK, is if we set up a session where the rain stops right as the green flag falls, and you can show how the track's going to dry out.
Okay, yeah,
and how
that'll
you
be
watch
good. Yep.
that dry line form, and how you're going to, you just have to continue to be curious. It's going to change. And we can use that timeline editor that we were playing with a little while ago and make it do exactly what we want to do, which is,
Sure.
is really, really cool. This is weird watching chat on both Twitch and YouTube. I have to turn my head.
The car is damaged, guys, but like it's. All right, so should we do that? Let's set up the race. Now we're done it. Vamos colocar a corrida, gente, molhado para secar. So let's do this.
Tony, fizeram uma pergunta no chat ali interessante. A chuva vai estar disponível para corrida noturna também?
Rain is rain, right? They're asking if it's gonna for the night races, if it's gonna rain at night.
Yeah, rain falls whether the sun's out or the moon's out.
A chuva acontece toda hora. So help me out here, Greg. Do I need to go back here or no?
All right,
No,
you can just click on the timeline or view timeline, or click on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Now click on the whatever, it's being weird.
No, hold on.
I'm
Let me
just gonna
do.
load in alpha real quick. I want to see. It's hard doing this with you on a delay. So let me just log in real quick, and I will be able to do it in real time with you.
No, here you
That
go.
seems.
I found it. I got it.
You got it. So if you look
Yes.
at the bottom of that timeline, though, at the bottom right, you see where it
Mm.
says race, and there's that little green line.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the race starts. So you can make it torrential rain up until that point, and then add a keyframe, and then make it clear after that, and you'll have a soaking wet track.
So here, how do I? Is that it? Like it added the time frame,
Add a
right?
keyframe to the right, the bottom of your screen. And I'm loading in too. This is much harder
Okay.
to do watching
Got
a
it.
delay. And then you can drag it, put it over the gap there, and you should be able to drag it
Here we go. So like
and just drag that back to the beginning of the race. Right there.
there.
A little further back. Right at the beginning of the green line.
Okay. That's it.
No, left. Let's make it so it just stops raining right as you go. There you go. And there, submit. Wait, do we have the heavy rain? Yep. Submit your timeline,
And let's go.
and let's go. And so we'll have clear weather, but for the 4 hours before the race, it was like a thunderstorm. So the ground is soaked, the track is drenched, but it should stop race. I don't know exactly where we ended up on that exact minute, but very quickly after the race starts, you'll have dry weather, a clear sky, or at least not raining, and
Y-
we'll be able to see the rain line
Can
develop.
we expect different tracks drying in different speeds? Like or no?
It
Like
all depends on your, the temperature, the wind. It's really the conditions that you have are going to affect it. It's not something that's pre-programmed. It's all based on the environment.
so now it stopped raining, guys, but the track is wet, and I'm on a wet
Yep.
tire. Let's see how it's a 15-minute race, so hopefully I won't crash like I did last time.
Tony's a race car driver through and through. He says nothing but send, send, send.
It has to. It's green. Green means 10.
But yeah, if we just watch how this progresses over a few laps, you're going to, especially since it's not raining at all now, we will very quickly begin to see the makings of a dry line, because there's 20 AI cars plus you driving on it. So we'll see every lap, the puddles that people are driving through, that's all different. The puddles are real, they're dynamic, they are they're absolutely affected by every car that drives through them. And as each car drives over different parts of the track, you're sucking water off the track. It's going to dry up more and more and more, and that'll be really cool to see over a few laps here. Tony's job is just not to wreck the car. I believe in you.
Trying. Look at it.
So while Tony's working on creating a wet line or a dry line, I can go write down some questions I keep seeing in the chat. So I'm just going to go through some of it.
Yeah.
Can I use rain tires in dry sessions? You can. That doesn't make it a good idea. They're going to burn up very quickly, just like in real life. That's not something that you're not going to be able to find an exploit in that capacity. If you're on a dry track and wet tires, they're going to be gone very quickly. So yeah, will my rain tires overheat? Yes. As the track dries out, they're going to get considerably hotter on a dry track as the track does dry. But during wet conditions as well, they will wear out. Tire wear doesn't go away on iRacing, and so that's something you have to pay attention to. How long will my wet tires last? Well, it kind of depends on the car. The GR86 tires are a little harder than the LMP2 tires, but if you're looking like GT3s and prototypes, 1 to 2 stints maximum. Kind of depends on the water depth. It's always different. Every session's different, so there's no just okay, you can race 1 stint on your wet tires. It really depends on the condition. Other questions: will all official sessions have rain? Well, not all the cars in iRacing have rain tires right off the bat. Basically, starting tomorrow, the entire IMSA field will have rain. The FIA F4, Super Formula Light, Toyota GR86, and the Ray FF1600. That's what's releasing. So those series will have the option for rain. Now, just because, starting week 1, just because it can rain in the series, we're not going to make it rain every day. We're going to keep a very close eye on that. Racing in the rain is fun, but racing in dry weather is kind of what people are here for. We're going to try to find a balance it's fun for everybody. And to that point, the weather won't be the same from time slot to time slot. If you race at 6 p.m. and then you race at 8 p.m., while the forecast is the same, it may be different. It may be dry in one session and wet in another. It might start raining on lap 1 in one session. It might start raining on lap 16 in another. Just because you raced on Tuesday, it does not inform you anymore about what the conditions are going to be like on Thursday. So you have to have an open and curious mind for every single race that you're in. I think that's one of my favorite things, especially for special events. If you can't watch the first time slot and plan your strategy, everybody's going to get the same forecast.
I'm getting whooped here.
Get good, man. You did go off. I mean, but without all the spray, you're really going to be able to start seeing the dry line. You can kind of already see it coming in just a little bit. Or you can see the offline is starting to dry out a little bit. But every lap, like I said, every lap's going to be different. Will I have to change my car setup for the rain? Yes. You need to at least put rain tires on, but in the open setup series, you'll still be able to make an ABS adjustment, traction control settings. If your aero is adjustable, maybe you want to put more wing in the car. Maybe you don't. I had an interesting conversation with one of our vehicle engineers who said in the real world they're kind of guessing at what the weather's done, and he's guessed right. Put more downforce on and been slow. He's put more downforce on and been fast. It kind of depends on a lot of variables. So once again, for the open setup series, it's something you're going to have to experiment with to get right. Tony, in the rain in an Indy car, did you typically like more aero, less aero? What was your strategy as a driver?
You go on an open wheel, go max downforce.
Max it out?
Yeah, but depending, like on a track like this, for instance, you have to be careful because then you'll be really slow on the straightaway. So typically on a street course, you definitely max the wing out. Here you kind of compromise a little bit, but on a downforce car, especially on the Indy car, you're trying to run as much as you can because the advantage is huge, right?
Have you done? I know you've raced GT stuff, but have you done a lot of rain racing in GTs?
Not in GT. I mean, Le Mans, it was raining a couple of sessions, but Sebring, when I won the 24-hour, the 12-hour of Sebring, it rained during the race. But obviously, I haven't done enough GT races, right? But it's very accurate. But like when you talk about downforce on those cars, think about the GT cars, they have small wing. I mean, it's not that effect. You can go max out and still not gonna really slow you down. Now, the new cars, the LMP2s and all the ground effect cars, that's when it makes a big difference. But like the engineers are saying, it's a compromise, because look at this, guys. This is dry. You can go softer on the setup to get the grip and still run less wing, so you balance it out, then you have the best of both worlds, right? So you're using the grip of the platform of the car to go around the corners, and then you have the less downforce, so you don't lose a lot of speed on the straightaway. So that would be the ideal situation, you know.
It's a question in chat. Can you disable spray graphics in the any files? Nope. Everybody's stuck with spray. There's going to be no turning graphics down to get an advantage. In the rain, you're going to have to deal with it. Everybody has to deal with it. And I said, I mean, we are a simulator, and that is part of racing in the rain, is having to deal with that. And that was a core principle early on. Everybody has to deal with it. So, sorry, not sorry, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wish. Hey guys, real life, it's raining. Can you turn the spray down for me, please?
Yeah, just turn the knob down. Another question I saw: will fixed setup racing have rain? Yes. Fixed setup racing will have rain. Yeah, something you'll need to pay attention to. But once again, we're not going to. It's not going to rain outside of week 13. It's going to rain a lot week 13. But we really need to. You know, week 13 is a great time for us to test and get a lot of feedback. And there's really nothing in the line for people other than having fun. And that's what we want to see in here. But we also want to make sure everything is tidied up, because the competitive season starts the very next week. And our goal is to have, we want nice, fair, competitive racing going into week 1. So that's the advantage of week 13 is that specifically is to get more people driving it and take that feedback.
It's drying, guys.
Another question I saw is how far in advance will I know if it's going to rain? You're going to have to look at the forecast as soon as you get into the session. I mean, that's the big thing, because it's not going to be the same from race to race. So I can tell you this, for Sebring, I would be willing to bet that water falls from the sky at some point. Just throwing it out there. So if you're planning on racing at a Sebring special event here in a couple of weeks, I would highly recommend getting ready to and do some practice in the wet weather. It would seem kind of rude for us to put rain out and not make your morning Sebring.
Oh, why am I I'm missing the delta for the laps.
Keep the questions coming. I'm scrolling back and forth between Twitch and YouTube. And Carlos, if you see something that like there's a lot of a question, jump in.
Okay.
Feel free to ask. I'm not going to see every question. I got slow mode on on Twitch trying to keep up. A lot of people watching. And then I have the iRacing Alpha Discord. Shout out to all you guys. I just saw the notifications. So those guys are all watching. Hopefully I haven't put my foot in my mouth too much yet. And shout out to our QA and our Alpha team. I mean, they have absolutely been just running through the ring. And our entire development team. And once again, I need to maybe text Greg Hill while we're here. I think it was like something like 65 different developers had a hand in Rain development, and that's before we got into marketing it at all. Like just the development of Rain. We have so many people in the room on this. This was such a long-term project to do it appropriately and not just turning down the grip slider. And I mean, there's no way that I would be able to name off every single person that helped out, because it was such a huge part of the company was involved. So, but really, major shout out to to all of our developers, our QA team, you know, the vehicle engineers, Alpha team. I mean, the graphics people, the amount of work that went into getting the spray right, the reflections, everything, the UI. You know, our UI team to build that concept out. They did such a fantastic job. It's been an amazing team effort. I'm sure I missed somebody there, but it's really cool to see it all come to fruition. I mean, it's like Christmas Eve, and I'm like a 7-year-old kid. Like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm so excited to see this come out tomorrow and just cruise through Twitch and cruise through YouTube and watch people get their hands on it. And once again, don't drive it like video game rain. You're going to have to learn to drive it like race car drivers. And TK talking about driving it like a triangle was the most, that was the best way I've heard it described in that few words.
Getting drier. You guys can see, you just then you look for the dry and then
Somebody's saying looks dry enough for slicks. If I'm seeing puddles on the side of the road, I don't know that I'm going to slicks. Is it ready?
Let's try.
Okay, let's go for it. You got change your tires in your tire box. Box this lap. Box this lap.
Stop it.
Greg, I have a question that I am seeing in the chat. A lot of people asking.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, now we have the rain, right?
Yes.
When we have the snow.
Oh my gosh. Hashtag soon. Hashtag soon. And by soon, not soon. See, Michael Hinkle in chat, one of our QA engineers, is, will it rain on ovals? No, it's not going to rain on ovals.
I mean, guys, come on. It's gonna rain on those, or you're gonna have just a race delay or something. We're gonna just sit there and wait for the server.
See another one. Will Seth be able to convince you to add rain to Proto GT for Season 3 or sooner? We're going to be adding rain tires as efficiently as we're able to without cutting corners. You know, every car class has different tires. You know, we're modeling the real tread pattern of these tires. It's not just like, oh, this car gets rain tires and this car gets rain tires. It's not how it works. It is developing rain tires for a car is just as complex and more complex than the developing dry tires for the car, and they all have to be done in concert. We already have a hit list for next season. I'm not really at a point where I want to say what's coming next. I want to see everybody driving what's coming out tomorrow. But I can assure you that our vehicle engineers and VPA group are not going to be bored anytime soon.
Oh, that was really smart from my engineer. He called me on the last lap, but we can.
Oh, I see the dry right there in the pits in front of you.
I know, but this is the last lap, so we don't have like a lot of time to recover. But I want to see. I think it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, I mean, typically in iRacing, you want to, if you see it getting wet, I would be very careful trying to push it that extra lap, because.
Well, let's see. Somebody thought.
Send it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Tony, your pace is slow. We need you to push.
Guys, I don't know if it was. I don't think it was time for slick.
Oh, hey. That was not the apex, Mr. Kanaan.
Look, it's dry here. Look.
Well, that's part of it, though. I mean, it can be dry in one area of the track. Yeah, right there is great. You really see the dry line on the straight really came in. And I mean, that's going to be the thing. I think if you had an extra couple of laps, that would have been the crossover. But
Yeah.
Ooh,
bottom of
was
the hill
early, man.
there, too soon.
You don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
a couple more laps, and I think you would have been home.
I am going to suggest. So we did the LMP2. We can do the GT3, guys, but also you guys have, and I know Greg's gonna agree, but have to try the Super Formula Light. To me, is the most fun car I've ever driven in iRacing by quite a bit. And Greg actually had told me that before. I had jump on Alpha, and that thing is so cool. So
It's really cool.
should we do GT3 now or the Super Formula Light, guys?
Up to you. Up to you. I'm here for whatever. Leave it up to chat.
E aí, o que a gente
What's
vai?
Carlos want? What's Carlos want?
vai no Super Fórmula. Na pista nova.
I'm seeing a lot of Super Formula and SFL in chat. I think it's Super Formula time.
Okay.
And it sounds so good too. Oh, they Ozzy, Greg, and that whole team. Oh my gosh, they went out of their way
What track?
to. Oh, what's fun? I mean, you want to get crazy? You want to go to Portimao? How well do you know it?
I don't know Portimão, so.
Oh, you don't know it? Okay. Let's go somewhere in Europe. Let's go to Spa.
Spa, yeah, it's probably good.
Let's go to Spa. Everybody's gonna take it to Spa. Everybody goes to Spa.
What do you guys want? That's what we need to change. The weather, because we said it was going to be dry, right? So moderate rain.
Why don't we go light rain?
Okay, so I think we need to go back. And here we go.
Man, I'm new to this whole streaming thing. You ask chat a question and it goes crazy.
I know. Okay, light rain, guys. Light rain, okay?
Yeah, maybe do light rain right up to the beginning of
It's just a
session,
do we want to do?
and then you'll see it dry out.
So
Go to on the right side, hit that plus sign, add another keyframe on the right,
do we go clear?
and
Right.
make that clear, and then we'll see the dry line come in
Okay,
quicker
so
than
it's clear right when the
when the session starts.
Yeah.
So the track will have a little bit of water content. And for those of you that are like preparing for Sebring or any special event where you feel like it's going to rain, driving in the rain is one thing, but the transition times are going to be what's interesting. And I highly recommend doing something like this, where you're going from wet to dry or dry to wet and practicing there as well. Because if I was a betting man, I would say that is where the mistakes are going to be made.
Correct.
And understanding when you can put on the dry tires or when you need to put on the wet tires. That's really important.
So somebody asked about the slowdowns. Greg can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did that in Sebring, and actually does go away quicker because
That's
you're
something
going
we're
slower.
looking at. I think you'll see something like that pretty quick. And we'll be watching, especially during the first couple days of week 13. So something we definitely are paying attention on. This is the most complex system I've ever seen. It is it's just silly how much stuff when you start breaking it down. How many different systems within the sim that having rain touches. It's mind blowing. It definitely was not, hey, let's just turn the grip slider down, man.
Okay, so let me go back. Well, because I had to buy the track, guys. Hey, Greg, I'm running out of money here, man.
I got you covered. Hey, while you're in there, something we added last season, I don't think many people noticed. We put AI seasons for all of the base package content. So if you want to just try our AI out, this is a great place to go. We basically built rookie seasons for all of the included cars. Get in there and give it a run. It's a lot of fun.
Entendeu aí, Barreto, que ele falou do AI? Eles incluíram tudo.
Tá em todos os conteúdos básicos, né?
Exatamente. Então vocês podem testar o que vocês quiserem, que é... Alright, let's go have some fun. You do not have to buy the rain, guys.
No.
Não precisa comprar a chuva.
Rain is free.
Yeah. I mean,
it's included, I should say.
I have to say, if we could buy the rain, I would have bought the rain a few times that I was leading the Indy 500, and then I would just make it poor.
Hey, you got it. You got it at least once, though.
That's true. Well, the one that I was leading and rained, and they could have canceled, they didn't, and we restarted to try to finish the whole thing, and rained 10 laps later again, and then Dario won. So, all right, you guys ready for this?
You can already see the track is drying compared to what we were just driving. This will be really interesting. Granted, there's only one car, but if this is the first time seeing the Super Formula like, sound up, because this thing is it's a 3-cylinder. The wastegate noise on the turbo is so good. Oh my gosh, it's like watching Fast and Furious. It's so good. And there's been, I have to make a forum post tomorrow about the Super Formula Light, but there's been a lot of questions. What happens to the current Dallara F3? There's going to be a lot of opinions on what I'm about to say, but bear with me for a moment before you blow up chat. We're actually keeping the Dallara F3 series for the next couple seasons, or however long it if it continues to last. There's a lot of people that own that car. There's a lot of people that enjoy racing that car. And so we made the decision to keep both the series and survival of the fittest, really. But we don't want to force people to. We try to minimize forcing people to buy content. We're not just. It's not just a money grab. Our goal is to create as many compelling racing experiences as possible. And what's really cool, especially with the working with Super Formula and Super Formula Light, we have the makings of 3 continental open wheel ladders. We've got a pretty good chunk of road to Indy to IndyCar in the US, especially re-upping that partnership. We obviously have a really nice and compelling European Formula ladder, beginning with the FIA F4, great partners, flying over there tomorrow to meet with them. Super excited to see how we can continue to grow that relationship. But we also have the makings of it's smaller, it's only 2 rungs, but that Asian Formula car ladder with the Super Formula and the Super Formula Light, I think is really cool. And in fact, Super Formula and Super Formula Light are going to run the same schedules as each other, and so it's like a support series for one another, just like they do in the real world. Like I said, there's going to be people, there's too many open wheelers. Look at the numbers. You're able to go race, and we just want people to have the opportunity to race what they have, but if they want to try something new, we want them also to be able to do that. And our goal is to, respect our members. We don't want to pigeonhole people into feeling like they have to buy something, but we want to put things out that are compelling enough and are good enough situations that people want to get involved with the new stuff. So I'll go look at the forums here in a little while and people tell me I'm dumb, but that's what we're doing.
Guys, it is hard to drive, I'm telling you.
Oh, the puddle at the bottom of the hill. Don't go full Lando. Oh, you went full Lando.
And give up the time gained.
Hopefully there is no damage.
I think you broke the rear end. You hit it hard.
Let's see. I didn't break it.
Oh, you didn't break it?
No.
It's got to be towed out.
Look at look at that. Look at that.
I think you hit the.
It was a
There's
desperate.
no way.
Well, I hit the white
car was
line.
good.
Then look. Then it went whoa. No, look. It did not break.
I guess you just barely touched it.
See? But we just
Well, no,
record.
don't listen to me. I don't know anything. I don't even know why people are listening to me talk right now.
And I have
Carlos, are
to
you
say,
seeing any other questions pop through chat a lot?
Barreto,
Oi, desculpa.
tava te perguntando aí, meu filho, se você vê alguma outra pergunta aí que tem naquele
É que eu tô
papel.
tentando ler os dois chats, tá duro.
No, he's trying to read both chats, that's why, sorry.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I have Twitch in
I'm sorry.
slow mode, and then I don't. I guess I do the same thing in YouTube, and there's a lot going on. My goal, I'm looking for, if I see the same question a bunch, it's the ones I'm trying to jump on.
This conditions is actually more difficult than the full wet because it invites you, right? You think it's dry, but it's... Look.
I see somebody asking about VR performance. I have driven almost exclusively with the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, and it's been pretty good. I do not have TK's PC. I don't have the 4090. I got a 30 series graphics card, which is still a nice spec, but I've had no problems with frame rates and.
We answered the FPS question before, guys, but just so you guys know, it was designed not for you to have to buy a 4090. I mean, I'll let Greg explain and repeat a little bit more, but...
Yeah, so we used our existing minimum specs, and the goal was if you have a PC that can run iRacing, you'll still be able to use Rain. It only has it's a pretty small impact. Everybody has to deal with spray. You can't turn spray off because that's a competitive issue. But you're looking at about a 10% decrease at the most is really the goal. Our team did a good job of testing a lot of different graphics cards with a lot of different CPUs. I mean, there's a million different combinations out there. And we did our best to hit the heavy hitters. But if your PC can run iRacing, you shouldn't have trouble with Rain.
I found a question here, Greg, for you.
Yeah.
We know cars that are planning to arrive in a racing.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, for the future, all the new cars are coming with the wet tires, or it's car by car? All the new content in the future will be able to the wet tires, or no?
I don't want to say all, because as soon as I say all, one will not be ready for release. Our goal is to develop rain tires with any new piece of content that's coming out, if it's appropriate for it to have rain tires. That's the goal. There may be exceptions to that. I mean, developing rain tires is hard. That's definitely a lesson we've learned. And it's not just putting rain tires in the car, but our goal is to have a complete product when we put it out. So it's, okay, can the player car, can Tony drive in the rain? Then the AI, they have to have rain tires, which we can't even start developing until after the player tire is complete, because we use them while it's a slightly simplified design for the AI, they still have to correlate well together. So it's a big process to put a dry tire on a car, let alone a wet tire. We're going to do our best. I don't want to say 100%, because as soon as I say that, something will happen. The forums will say, well, Greg said that every car, we will do our best. Everybody's trying real hard.
Tony Please, Aska Bolt, in Endurance Track Change Condition to Line.
Mike Hinkle, one of our QA guys, has sent me some stuff I just discovered. Alright, have you explained why the FF1600 has no rain tires? I've not explained that, Mike. But for those paying attention at home, the Ray FF16 does not have rain tires because the car has tread in real life. It's a multi-purpose tire, so if you're racing the Ray, you can just you don't have to worry about it. And the Ray, along with the LMP2 Fix series, Those are two of our series that are going to be throughout the season where it will rain more often than other series. The rain is I would say probable to expected in those two series. So if you want to experience rain more often, those are two places to go because we do need to get continual feedback. So those are the two that we chose as kind of test beds throughout the season. That doesn't mean it's going to rain every single session in those two series, but it will rain more often in those series than in, say, IMSA. Other note from Mr. Hinkle, users with a single screen will see very minimal impacts on FPS. VR and triples will obviously see a larger decrease. But that 10% number we're feeling pretty good about.
Monteiro, he already answered that. Ele já pode mexer no setup. Can we change tire pressures, Greg?
The same parameters that were available before are available now.
É, a mesma coisa. Tudo que funcionava antes.
Seen a bunch of questions about the NERB 24 having rain. Does it rain in Germany? Yeah. Is the weather set to realistic? Yes. Other than that, guess you'll have to find out. I'd be willing to bet it rains in Sebring, though. That would be a good bet. How's it going, Tony?
I mean, this thing is so much fun, but it's sketchy. If you guys look, these conditions are actually, like I said before, it's worse because it's inviting you to go quicker and you think you can, but it's actually...
And that's the thing I think that's really going to catch people out. I think when it's just raining, a nice steady rain, people are going to be aware and have their head on a swivel to make sure that they don't overdrive the car. But yeah, when you get into situations like this is where being consistent is going to be, and being curious and finding those dry areas is really going to reward those that understand how to do it. So I highly recommend people go into these test drives and practice wet to dry and dry to wet. It will help you a lot.
I mean, look at this lap. It's like almost 6 seconds quicker than the previous lap.
The sun's out. I didn't see what your wind setting was at, but if it gets sunny and windy, it's going to blow dry the track. That's for sure. There's a question: how does the season of the year predict how much rain there will be at different race locations? So iRacing is, I'm going to simplify it a lot here, but we basically used a big almanac of historical data for each location of each track, and it's going to make realistic. If you just put it on realistic as far as the weather settings, it will give weather that is reasonable for that time of year at that track. Eau Rouge is a good time when it's just damp, isn't it?
I mean, this track is the conditions with the damping, like the way it's damped, it's the most difficult one I've driven since we introduced the rain and everything else. So, let's try this car. Do we have? Oh, that's my question. Do all the tracks have rain, Greg, or no?
Every road course has rain available to it.
So can we do Interlagos for the Brazilians real quick?
Let's do Interlagos for the Brazilians. What are we driving?
Same. I mean, that's my favorite car
Oh,
of all time right now.
I love
Or
it.
you guys
Let's
want to do
it.
GT3 or the Super Formula? E aí? GT3? Porsche GT3, okay. My good friend David. David, if you want to hop on Discord, you're more than welcome. If probably Greg doesn't mind by putting Greg on Greg on the spot here. D, come over. Okay, we need to buy the track Porsche GT3 first. Hold on.
You have enough money?
I haven't seen it. Hey, D.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
No, that's not it. Yeah, that's it. Did you put enough money for me there, Greg? See.
As we say back home, we gonna find out.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Carlos. How you guys doing?
What's going on, David?
Yeah, good, man. Liking what I see?
Do we want a light rain? Heavy rain? What do you guys want? Let's go heavy for now. Interlagos, when it rains, it rains. So, well, this is gonna be. So we don't want that.
It's 20 past 1 in the morning, so yeah, I'm obviously enjoying it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell anybody, so, but let's go back. Yes, changes.
Well, I saw you throw up a test stream when I was driving home, and I even asked Lisa, like, "What is he streaming rain? Like, check, Lisa." And she translated it and was like, "No, he's just doing a test stream." I was like, "Yeah, but what's he testing? Like, he's getting ready to stream something."
Let's do just moderate rain.
What's the maximum officials get? Is it moderate? Because they don't get heavy, right?
The officials get realistic weather.
Oh, okay.
It is just realistic.
I'm playing catch up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's been a big question. You know, that group that TK did with our all of the influencers, we turned it up to 11 to prove a point. But it is statistically highly unlikely that you will have races like that in our official race.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I think that's what I heard then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not rain related, guys, but somebody's asking. One thing that I have to give plenty of props to, Greg. People think just because I actually I'm going to tell a story between Greg and I.
Oh,
Can
gosh.
I do that, Greg?
Well, it depends on which story.
when we first met.
Oh yeah.
So here's the deal, guys. If you don't know my story, which is on sim racing, you're gonna get a kick out of this chat. I was simulators like were heavy. Especially
Tony
on
was
the
a full boomer. Absolutely full boomer.
And I have to admit, I don't know how this person that is on the other side of Discord still speaks to me, because I was for a fact, and I fully admit it. I actually apologize to him, like 100%. I cannot even say it. I'm not gonna swear because a-hole. I hate simulation. I fought with the guys at the Real Simulator from Honda all the years. I developed the Dallara one, the Chevy one, and then I always said, this is not real. This is BS. You can't do this. You can't do this. Anyway, we go through the pandemic, and IndyCar says, well, we can't race. We're going to do an official iRacing race, and you guys are all obligated to participate. Obligated. And I'm like, you can imagine me. This is and IndyCar gave us $300 to the drivers that didn't have a steering wheel. To buy $500 to buy something. And I'm like, $500? I had no idea what to buy, but then I had some friends. I'm like, nah. Started right away. I had my first sim was already a semi-cube, like full blown. But then we go have a meeting with this Greg West guy from iRacing, and Greg shows up. We're all on Discord, and he goes, "Okay, gang, this is the deal. Hi, I'm Greg West. Hopefully, we're doing this because, of course, everybody is trying to, to come out and do something for the sponsors. This is what we're doing. We're gonna do a 30-minute race. Was it 30? Yeah, it was 30 minutes.
I have definitely blacked out part of that.
Yeah, I was like, what? 30 minutes in the simulator. You guys are crazy. I'm not doing this. Anyway, threw a fit. Typical Tony Kanaan. Nobody listens. Nobody cares. Just don't worry about it. He's going to come down. Did the whole race. Met David, like, probably, I don't know, like a week later. Went on YouTube and tried to learn FOVs and all the stuff that David does on his YouTube. And and we'll start testing. And well, making a story short, 4 years ago, today I have what, I don't know, 9 projects with that I endorse. Micro Center. Greg got me involved with some of the alpha stuff that with the Stock Car Brazil and some of the IndyCar, blah blah blah. So anyway, I love it. I have to admit and apologize now for 1,400 people. Um, that I was definitely against it. And then, but Greg still stuck around. David got fed up with me, moved to England, doesn't want to speak to me anymore. Every once in a while, he shows up. Then I get stuck with freaking Tyson. That comes, Greg. You know what Court did? So we come here to do the 24. Remember, I told you. So I
Yeah,
tell,
you
I
wanted
tell,
me to come down.
I told Greg, come down. Let's do. I have 8 rigs. We're gonna do a live show from there. Me, Malone, Quirk. I mean, unfortunately, David was in England. He couldn't come or made the excuse not to come because he's fed up with us. So we
Please.
we're there, organized everything. We have an engineer. Carlos is there doing the strategy. And Quirk, are you there? Just behave, otherwise I'm gonna block you. So Tyson is driving, and all of a sudden, not his fault, to give him credit. So his steering wheel, his hyper from Gomez, the 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 screen shuts off during the stint. It's like, well, maybe maybe it's the USB hub, maybe it's whatever. So he stops, and that typical Tyson is gonna try to troubleshoot things because that's what he needs to do. So what does he do? He takes his wheel off and gets one of my wheels, and Greg just put the wheel on the sim, and then goes to connect the USB on the USB hub, plugs it in, comes back, the dash is dead. Like, weird. Takes that wheel off, bring another one, puts the wheel on the DD, goes back, plugs in, come back. Wow, this one is dead too. Takes it off. Third wheel. So that's the wheel number 4, including his. Puts it in, plugs in, comes back. Well, to make a story short, it was short circuiting something. The hub was bad, and he actually fried 4 wheels, including his. So anyway, let's drive. What do I think about motion? Don't get me started. I think, to be honest, um, here's the thing, guys, and I'm not. This is an honest, and I could not be more honest on this. I'm really bad at this. I don't think I get it. I started it really late, and then like everything in life, I started racing. I was really young, but some of the physics are still not the same as the race car. A lot of the feelings, I mean, we feel our race cars literally in our butt. So to me, I still struggle a lot. The graphics are perfect. To learn the racetrack is perfect. Gears. Now, the physics. First of all, I think big props to iRacing because they work with. There is not just we have how many people, Greg, that drivers that help with. They try to get every driver from their own series to try to help, and we all. The biggest challenge also is the tire manufacturers. You know, like to give us a tire model. We have the same issue in IndyCar, Greg. I mean, they won't Firestone. It won't give it to us, even though they're the sole supply because those are things that they developed that if one day you get another tire manufacturer and that information leaks, you're basically giving your entire secret, right? It's like somebody goes in and you have the risk that they're going to take all the iRacing software or whatever.
Yeah.
So tire model is extremely difficult, although I think iRacing has a pretty good relationship with some of the tire manufacturers. So I struggle a lot because my muscle memory it's still from the real race car, and then you see the new generation like Verstappen and Lando that they actually, I'm gonna be 50, so I play Atari Enduro on the bloody thing. So the motion to me, if you never ever driven a real race car, it's actually okay. I'm actually working on developing with the motion a little bit of because the ones that I tried, they're too strong. Like it's like but for somebody that don't understand, thinks it's awesome, right? Because oh my gosh, this is, but it's not like that. I mean, so we're getting closer. I think the more and more that we get more drivers involved trying to, that's the biggest challenge, right? I wish, like when we're developing the Chevy, the real Chevy simulator, which is $7 million, the McLaren one, we tried to get, you almost need a driver and a software engineer that was a driver or vice versa, because then he can do both. Because the hardest thing is to explain to the guy what you need and the guy to understand also with the system that is limited, right, Greg? I mean, you can, we don't want to
Yep.
get into details, but it is limited. It's not like, yeah, I wanted to do this and the thing does it. The guy needs to write a software and so on. So I'm talking a lot, but I'm trying to explain to you guys that, I mean, I'm not a fan, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
And we're talking about the motion. I think, my racing career is much shorter and much simpler. I just raced Formula V's for a season. That was it. I had a ton of fun. But the G-forces. I mean, that's the thing you miss, that feeling, that the seat of the pants. Motion's a blast. I had motion for the longest time. We've got a big motion rig at the office. It's an absolute blast. But it wasn't my cup of tea for driver training. Also, I feel like, once again, I love motion. I have nothing against motion. I had for a long time, but I'm slower with the motion, me personally, because if I'm getting bounced around in the cockpit, I'm not going to be as precise as somebody that is in a perfectly stable environment. I mean, imagine an IndyCar F1 driver, or somebody that didn't have to feel the G-forces. They would be more precise. They would be faster. So yeah.
Is it auto-load the wet tyre if you load into a wet session, say in a practice session or a race, or is it you have to make sure you load it?
You need to make sure you're on the wet tire, especially in open setup racing, fixed setup racing.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends. It depends on the series. It really does, and what sessions you're going in. But that's just something that you're going to have to pay attention to moving forward. And you'll make the mistake once, then you won't make it again.
So were changes iterative, like how much were we getting before we got the rain? Like, were changes being made knowing rain was coming and you were feeding them slowly into the sim, making it ready, or is everything gone into this update to do with rain?
The vast majority's gone into this update. Something you have seen that caused a lot of confusion, the track polish system, which really didn't have a major impact. That has been going in over time, just updating the track surfaces to make sure that the track polish was in the right places realistically. So we've put that in, I think, a couple of builds ago, and maybe tweaked on it a little bit. But I mean, this new Tempest system is completely different. There's going to be no default weather's gone. I mean, that's going to be something that catches some people out.
Oh, it is gone?
Yeah, I mean, there is no default setting. So I mean, you can go back and recreate it, but their default setting is no longer a thing. Our goal is to have realistic be the default setting. I mean, that's real world racing. It's not always the same. You don't always know to the 10th of a degree what the weather's going to be like. So if you optimize your setup for that specific, temperature range, you might be surprised. You're going to have to pay attention.
So going from IMSA to IMSA, like 2 hours apart, they're going to be slightly adjusted weather based on the cloud positions and everything. So things will be slightly different. Excellent.
So
but I assume
the forecast is the same, but I mean, and our weather person at iRacing is pretty good compared to some of the weather stations. At least where I'm at, sometimes they miss big time. But for the most part, the forecast is going to be pretty reasonably accurate to what you're going to get. But it may rain in one session, it may not rain in another. It might rain on lap 4 in one session, it might rain on lap 16 in another session. So if you race on Tuesday, you're not going to have an advantage over somebody racing on Friday.
What about splits? Let's say you're in split 1, someone's in split 3, the same time. Do we get the same weather then, so we can compare?
Then you get the same weather. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
that's cool. That's cool. 'cause
Yep.
you can at
So
least
everybody is scoring points based off the same conditions within a split.
Oh, of
So
course,
yeah,
you have
like
to
the
factor in
broadcast split of
championship
Sebring
points.
is
Yeah.
the seed is exactly the same, but there'll be a difference between the first and the second.
I didn't even think about championship points here. Right.
Yep.
You don't want split 2 getting a dry track and split 1 pouring over.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the answer to this question, but I wondered on your feedback on it regarding fixed and traction control and ABS. Like, was it something you considered allowing? Because
No. Well, I guess yes, it was discussed and then quickly squashed.
okay.
This is I use the example of Dan down the road. Somebody's gonna laugh at this. I use this all the time. We have a ton, I would say a vast majority of members on iRacing love fixed setup racing. They just
Yeah, I
want it to
agree.
be
Yep.
them in the car and that's it. And we give them brake bias because the difference between having a load cell brake pedal and a like a potentiometer really requires different brake bias settings. I use one of our guys on staff, Seth, who's a web developer for us, is incredibly quick. He doesn't have a load cell brake pedal, and his brake bias settings, the guys with load cell brake pedals really struggle with. But it works for him. And that's why brake bias is open in fixed setup racing, because we don't know what hardware everybody has, and we want everybody to be able to be competitive, whether they've got a G27 or whether they have the latest and greatest Simu-Cube that's got 90 Newton meters of torque, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but we talked about ABS and traction control and all that stuff, and we said for fixed setup racing, no, brake bias. That's what you get, and you get to choose wet or dry tires. We have every car has a new setup called baseline_wet.sto. Now that setup may be optimized for brake bias, traction control, and ABS as well. But as far as adjustments in fixed setup racing, if you want to make adjustments, every fixed setup series, I believe, somebody will correct me in chat, but I think every fixed setup series has an open analog to it. So if you want to adjust your car, go race open.
Yeah, no, I understand.
This is
So,
fun,
yeah,
guys.
it was discussed, but quickly.
Yeah, I
that's
get it.
That's a business decision from us. It makes a lot of people happy. There's a vocal minority that they are
Yeah, I wasn't coming from the performance side. I was more coming from, say, the newer member who is struggling in the wet on a fixed, say the BMW, which is quite difficult out of slow speed corners. On the fix, they may struggle in the wet and might want to crank the TC. So I was more coming from that angle rather than I was coming from the people looking to, grind hours, dialing in their ABS and TC to be quicker. But no, I understand why.
And I would argue that the newer person doesn't know what they're doing with the setup anyway. They probably just need to
True.
lapse in.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah, for sure.
keep them coming, David. Yeah. And I'm once again scrolling both across Twitch and YouTube, looking for common questions. How's the car, TK?
It's hard. My home track. This is the only
need to
track I
just
can
track back
actually
your new-
beat David.
Yeah. All right. We'll do a super formula like that. Looked really fun.
It's on tomorrow. I'll be there.
That
Yeah.
car is so good. It's so good. I'm incredibly happy with. I'm an open wheel fanboy first and foremost. It comes out whether I try to hide it or not, but I really am. They look like Hot Wheels cars.
Me too.
You know, yeah, I guess you probably have a little bit of a predisposition toward them. But some of these open wheelers we put out, they've been just really good lately. And we had on the Super Formula. Hopefully I don't get anybody in trouble with this. But Liam Lawson, who raced Super Formula last year, was helping us develop it. And I mean, that was an absolute blast. When all the AlphaTauri stuff was going down, in the middle of all that, he came in and was running laps for us and giving us feedback. And it was such a big asset to us to have somebody that had real seat time in that car, giving us feedback. Now, Super Formula Light and the Ray FF 1600 we were lucky enough to have Max Esterson, who had raced both cars in real life, in there turning laps and doing fuel runs and doing tire runs, and having that validity for those cars has helped so much inform the development process. And I mean, I think we are in a really good spot on iRacing. You really got to scrape the bottom of the barrel looking for cars that, you know, I would say aren't good. I think everything on iRacing is pretty good right now, and the new stuff is just continues to raise that bar. And that's pretty exciting to be involved with, you know, a company that is willing to do the deep dive and put that level of detail into it.
IndyCar's back.
IndyCar's back. I'm excited about that. DW12's coming to Dallara Dash in week 1, not during week 13, but during week 1. That'll be fun too.
IndyCar
And the
fantastic.
IndyCar iRacing series kicks off next weekend,
Yes, sir.
which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'll be doing the Friday one. I'm looking forward to it. I drove it recently, Laguna Seca, and yeah, personally I think it's the best force feedback in the game. See it.
You were not the only one that said that. That car has been good to us, and you know, we've gotten a lot of feedback from real world drivers. You know, during COVID, during the Indy Pro Invitational, we got a ton of feedback.
I mean, it's a little heavy. Like coming out from my GT3 settings, I jumped on track, and lucky I was paying attention.
Well,
It's
yeah.
a heavy car.
For the real race car drivers,
Yeah. Okay.
you know,
So
people
wouldn't-
that
you
don't
wouldn't
drive,
then.
people that don't. Nope, I don't. people that need shoes to hit the brake pedal, not socks. Chad, I'm joking. Don't hate me, please. I just said I suck at this, so you should not listen to me. It's funny because a lot of people, as you guys can see, let me switch, if I switch cameras. By the way, Greg and David, today it was such a special occasion that I brought out my, as you guys know, I retire, but it's been some talks because one of the kids that I hired broke his wrist. Some people are like debating if I'm going to come back or not. You'll find out tomorrow morning when we do the announcement. But I am the reserve driver for the team. I'm also the reserve driver for Kyle Larson, which is doing the double this year with McLaren and IndyCar, and Hendricks at the Coca-Cola 600. So if it rains like this, he's gonna have to go to Charlotte, and I will hop in the car. So, if you guys look at my brake and throttle camera, this is never wore my McLaren new shoe that I just got
Oh, those are nice.
today. So obviously I wasn't driving this camera because I wanted people to see the rain, but
Nice, mate. Got me size 12.
it's David's Samsung colors,
Yes.
which I
know.
told him 4 years ago that green was much better than orange. I disagree right now. I actually another thing that I said that I probably shouldn't have. Anyway,
We can tell a story at my expense. I mean, your
Yeah?
story. Yeah. Tony has invited me and Leslie to not one but two Indy 500s.
and
to
he
come
just
hang
keeps.
out.
He has more important things to do.
And we've had a wedding to go to. That, like, Leslie was in, or officiating actually, the last two Indy 500s. So yeah,
This is-
I'm a terrible
this is-
person.
Yeah, yeah. And then I retire. So now if he wants to come watch, it's gonna. Yeah, we're gonna
Well,
watch
if it's
together.
gonna rain, if it looks like it's gonna rain this year, we probably have a wedding or something to go to.
100%. But guys, again, even if it rains, can you imagine if it rains at the race? I am gonna jump in a race car without doing a single lap for more than like 365 days.
It's like
But-
riding a bike. It's the same
No, but
chassis.
back-
You've done
but-
this before.
That's true. But back to my point is, a lot of people come to my stream and they do make fun of me, or people that don't know, why do I drive with shoes and gloves? And I think David and I actually, together among Morad and a couple other people we develop on the SimiCube side. Like I said, for the IndyCar, Greg, I do run my SimiCube Ultimate at 100% on the software. Obviously, you can adjust that in the sim on iRacing, but as close as I can to the real life. Which, you guys, if you guys watch my stream, um, you can see how heavy my wheel is. So if I don't wear gloves, I'll get blisters because with the rubber and the wheel and everything else. And the
Yeah,
shoes
same.
is my brake pedal is as hard as the master cylinder and the brake pedal I have on the IndyCar. I'm about to swap the pedals to the active pedals from SimiCube. I do have for you guys if you don't follow me, you guys can look that we just built an awesome man cave, sim garage, whatever you're gonna call. We have 8 sims there. Greg and I have been brainstorming to do some events for the community there for free, nothing to promote. You guys don't need to pay anything. This is just my little place that obviously we have a lot of fun. And but so I'm in a the pedals are here. It's just that I haven't had the time. I was telling Greg that at 49 years old, I found a new job. Actually, I found a job, my first job. Um, After I retire, I work for McLaren now full time on the IndyCar, but I will replace that. So that's why the reason for the shoes and for the gloves. Now,
They're
if you're
clean.
going to,
They're clean.
they're brand new, so it's like,
Yeah, I like those.
I have to say, I could, for sure, I think, and I let David talk a little bit later, but like if I had a softer brake pad, I just run a softer brake pedal and a softer um, wheel, like on the direct drive, I think I would be quicker in the sim because I would feel more modulation and like even when you try to catch the car here, like it's when it's too heavy. Remember, guys, the movement is a lot slower. Um, but I don't want that because that's not what I've learned, which I should be a little bit more open-minded. But that's why. I mean, that's why I fight. If you guys follow me, I went to the doctor the other day because my shoulder and my elbow tendonitis gotten a lot worse since I retired. And I'm like, what is it? People are like, hey, you're just old.
Because you haven't skipped arm days since you retired.
Correct. And then I've been on the sim at least 2 to 3 hours every day, which I've never done that when I was driving. So anyway, what are we doing? What do you guys want to do?
Oh, what do we want to do?
Have you done the Formula Ford?
No, we can do that. Do you guys want to do Formula Ford?
It looks good in the wet. Big old tires.
Yeah, let's do it. Where are we going?
You guys pick.
Brands Hatch is
my
that's
track.
Formula
Yeah,
Ford.
Brands Hatch. That's what
I'll say
Yeah.
Brands Hatch Indy is Formula Ford. So
Let's go to a track where TK wouldn't stand a chance against me.
oh
Nope.
my gosh, the lake at the bottom of the hill is there.
Yeah.
It is there.
What is the car? It says Formula. Oh,
Ray, go to Ray FF 1600.
So Greg's selfish question: in the patch notes, are we getting a GTP fix series to replace the LMP2 fix series?
No,
Is it too-
we're not. We're
Is it
getting
too late to make that change?
I don't want to make that change. I think we won. There needs to be some impetus to get people to go up through the ranks.
Yeah,
and we have IMSA fixed and IMSA open, but we're using the LMP2 fixed series as one of our mule series that's going to rain significantly more often than other series.
Okay, cool.
LMP2 and then the Ray FF 1600 open series, both of those series, I would say I would call the forecast probable to expected as far as rain. Because we want to
I've fallen in love with the GTPs. I must say that's been really good addition, like really good, especially how many you have.
But they're getting a lot of participation. But the LMP2 fixed series gets a lot of participation as well, and it ends up being a net neutral. You make as many people mad as you make happy. So that's something we're really cognizant of. Our depth is our strength, and so if we listened to the community, we would just have we'd be all GT3s, right? Basic, but and then because we have so many different things to race, yeah, it waters it down a little bit. But we've this it's funny reading some of the feedback because when I started the iRacing, I think we had 68,000 members, and now we're right around 250,000 active members.
Wow.
We've grown a little bit. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
The growth that we've had and sustained and continued to grow, which is just, and I think a testament to if you build it, they will come. We gained a lot of members during COVID, but we've really been working hard on continuing to evolve the service, and a lot of those people stayed. It wasn't like this big peak and then drop off.
Yeah.
But with all of these new members that we have, yes, we have added some series, but we've not, triple or quadrupled the number of series that are available. We've added them in strategic places, and I think that's important to know.
Is GT4 and TCRs gonna be rain enabled in the future? Can we?
Oh, yeah, of course they're going to be rain enabled in the future. They're high on our hit list. I don't have the hit list in front of me, but obviously those are important cars for the service and will be ones we want to get to sooner rather than later. I don't know if they are in the next build cycle or the one after that. I would assume they would be in the next 2 build cycles, but we'll see.
Salty Life, you're totally right. I am pretty much slow everywhere. That is a fact. I'm
not.
I'm not ashamed.
No, you're not.
And all the respect to to the 1,400 people here and the other 700 on the other side there, Greg and David, they're here. If it was just my stream, I would follow up with another answer for you when I go up those stairs. What I see before I went to my bedroom. It's a little trophy that has my face on. It calls Borg. He's a little Borg, but I'm okay. I don't mind.
Ultimate flex.
Oh man,
getting a lot of questions about adjusting setups and endurance. I assume nothing's changed on that front. If you built a low wing set, you're gonna have to deal with it on wets, right? You can't.
Yeah, that's correct. We've not changed our concepts.
I think that even IRL, it would take way too long to be realistic to make a significant setup change.
And that's something that was debated even as late as as week. And there are some, like say GT3s that are more efficient in the real world at making some of those adjustments, but not all of them. And I get yelled at enough about BOP. I don't need to start taking which cars can more efficiently make rain adjustments into the equation as well.
And speaking of, Greg, I mean, just for the guys that I here today, you have no idea how, like, even in real life, how hard IMSA and WEC has it. When you, oh my gosh, wait, it's the same place.
Hey, there's some water out there, buddy.
to BOP, like the cars, it's crazy. Like even, I'm telling you, like IMSA at Le Mans and those places, nowadays with the data, they really hammer the teams because obviously we're all like, I mean, back in the day we like, remember they tried to do the BOP, right, like iRacing does right before the race, and because they keep watching, and we sandbag so much for them not to, and then obviously, oh my gosh, but then obviously they started to catch everybody, and now they do a pretty good job. So I understand, and it's crazy. Let me go this way. Here we go.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Oh, made it.
It's funny though because it's how the sim is really emulating reality. We get a ton of people reaching out to us throughout the week lobbying for BOP updates, and every one of them has an angle. it's really funny.
That
Our
happens
best
in
BOP
real life
has
too.
been
You
when
know, like
everybody was mad. When everybody's upset, that's when we know the BOP is pretty good.
I'm
If it's
struggling
all
here.
quiet, then we've screwed up and we know it. Because the teams have started sandbagging too. They'll sandbag during practice, during the races, even that week leading up to it. We're aware of it. I mean, we're more on top of it than people think. We also have more tools than are readily available to the membership as a whole.
I mean, Greg,
to-
should we tell everyone that you guys can see everything we do, just like a little detail, right? I mean, it's not like it's like us with the telemetry. I try to fool my engineers. I'm not. I'm using like a metaphor, but you can't. The data's there. You know what I mean? It's like
Yep.
you can't like.
And we have more channels of telemetry available to us than you do, and that's as far as I'm going to go into that.
Right.
But we feel pretty good about it. We've got some guys that can flat out fly on staff too that help us with that. But it's not just that. It's not just. I love seeing these forum threads like, well, over a single lap, this car is faster or this car is faster. I'm like, in qualifying trim, yeah, that's a thing, for sure. Like, that's not over the course of the race. Different tires have different fuel burn rates. The car, starts burning the tires off late in the run, and they're going to lose. That delta's going to change. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not single lap pace, and that is the hardest thing to explain to people. And also arguing with people on the internet's never a good idea. But it's I implore you to go and be curious, or just drive what you want. They're close. I promise they're very, 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 very close. If we miss, we hear from the manufacturers. Trust me, been there, done that. That's always a fun phone call. But one thing we will not do, and I'll say this right here, we do not BOP to the meta. We do not BOP to what the prevailing theme is. We BOP based off hard data. And that way, if a manufacturer comes to us and is upset about the BOP or who's driving their car, we can say this is the data. And so that's the very important thing. We will not ever chase the meta. That is not how we do things on iRacing. We BOP, we adjust the balance of the performance like in the GT3 cars for special events. We do it strictly off the data. And yeah, you might be faster in the Porsche than the BMW. That doesn't mean the Porsche's OP. That means you're faster in the Porsche than the BMW. I'm significantly better in the Ferrari than I am the Lamborghini. Both mid-engine cars. You would think I would be, the same. But I'm quicker in the Ferrari. Really sucks. I love the sound of the Lamborghini. I grew up with Diablo and Countach posters on my wall. I want to be fast in the Lamborghini, but I am quicker in the Ferrari. And I'm not
What about when I'm slow everywhere? What do I choose?
You
Stay
walk
home?
upstairs and you look at your Borg Warner trophy and you say,
right,
what,
and then yeah, right.
But I really want to put some of that to bed. There's always somebody, BOP sucks. I'm 3 seconds faster in this car. No, you're not. Or you're not. Maybe you're not that good. But we can't BOP to the middle of the field. We have to BOP for how the fastest driver would be in each car, or as close to it as possible. Because if we BOP for 2000 iRating, it's not going to be accurate for the people in the top split. And BOP, it has to be around the fastest drivers. It just has to be. If you're not up there, I would say over 5,000 or 6,000, drive what you want to drive. Keep the car clean. As soon as you put a small ding in the car, then BOP's out the window anyway.
Right.
So as soon as you overcook the tires, BOP's out the window anyway. So drive what you want to drive what you think is cool, go have fun with your friends. That's my soapbox for BOP, and I will get off of it now.
This is fun, D.
Yeah, it looks it. It looks
Drift City.
I'm really tempted to do a lot of this next season. I think this and the Super Light will be, especially. Obviously I'm leaning because of the rain. Well, not even the rain. I tell you what, now I've been watching you for absolute ages. I like this hunting for grip. Like, obviously I know this is heavy rain. It's gonna be a lot of driver skill and a lot of mistakes. But I love this element of hunting lines for grip. You know.
Yeah, but it
being-
looked like, like I'm a second and a half quicker
Yeah.
just because of the line. I mean, I'm finding it, right? So it's not like, it's not just because I'm guys, here, look at this. I'm a professional race car driver that I know. I'm still discovering the line too because it's a new track. See, I mean, and look, one lap you find a better line, and
Yeah, I think that's what I'm excited about, and yeah, it just adds a whole new element to it, especially on an endurance race. Because I assume, you know, if we've, Greg, if it's been, you know, sunny for 6 hours and the grip levels are almost at maximum, but the rain comes in, then we deal with the rain. Then once the rain's drying out, I assume the grip levels have been wiped out and it starts again.
It washed away a lot of that rubber.
Yeah, so that's great. That's
Yeah,
gonna
I mean
hold a
that's
whole new
that's
element.
modeled.
Yeah, that's a nice element to how we have to approach and how drivers have to think.
And I once again I got to say this: the number of people. I think that the number I keep saying is like 65. I think there was like 65 developers. I could be wrong on that, but it was a big number like that. The number of people that worked on this and the amount of time that went into it, it is just amazing. The level of depth. I mean, my mind is blown. I've learned so much that I didn't know about, first off, racing, rain, how tracks work, how, you know, the tire rubber and water and the asphalt all interact with each other, and how dynamic it is, and, you know, how much it affects heating and cooling, and there's just so much. And it's been an absolute privilege to, you know, be on the inside and watching the whole thing take place, and to be able to have any feedback at all. But the teams, the engineers, the developers, the QA folks, the UI UX marketing, everybody that had a hand in this. Tomorrow's going to be a really fun day because I think we have something to really be proud of. I cannot wait to hear the community feedback. You know, I've had a couple of people ask, you know, we've had a few influencers that have had the opportunity to try it out for the community. Like, well, what were we not allowed to talk about? And I said, I think it's fair game. I think we stand by that. We put out something really good. Is it absolutely 100% dead on perfect? No.
no, but guys, I mean
it's pretty good.
Greg, honestly, look, we're talking about a formula, right? The spray on the helmet, guys, this is not real, and then we know that. Greg knows that. The guys, I mean, you have a lot more spray, like on the visor. Now that is like it's not, it's I would say 60%, because on an open wheel, on an open cockpit, actually, it's crazy because yeah, we do use a little bit of rain X sometimes, but not really because the speeds, depending on the car, on the Indy car before we had the windscreen, was so fast that the visor it was not an issue.
And
I mean,
can I jump
the
in
water.
real quick, Tony?
Yeah.
Our visor effects will come out soon.
I know. That's what I was saying. I was gonna,
happy
yes,
with them for release.
correct. I was gonna say, those are all things they are still coming, and that you know they try. I was like, so it again, guys. I'm gonna give you guys another example. I'm gonna be in Charlotte next week and the following week with Kyle Larson on the Chevy simulator, which you can imagine how much money Chevy has spent to simulate. Is a full IndyCar cockpit, but it's $7 million. A full, like, even, I mean, there we have plenty of issues that we're still, and we go there and basically we try to go to the track, then we go to the real track and come back the next week. Like, let's say we're gonna race in St. Pete, right, next Sunday, and one of the Chevy drivers will be on the sim on Tuesday after the race and put the same setup and everything that they race to try to see if we can improve the sim. So what else can I say about the rain here? The most realistic, somebody asked me about the weather on the black box. It's right here, you can see it.
Oh, that's the first time I've seen that. That looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to drive it. My influencer email must be in the junk. I'll check it later. Junk.
Oh,
It would
look
be
at David
horrible.
plugging in. Hey, D, if you were still my friend, maybe I would introduce you to Greg, this guy that was
Oh,
not
hey,
my
what's
friend
up?
before. um, you know, I again, guys, I have, and then I asked Greg this, and then I know that where he stands all the time, and we need to tell the truth. There is no point. The only thing that I would say for all the sim racers out there, and I'm not trying to preach anything, because some people definitely have no idea what they're talking about, and that was what sometimes infuriates me, right? And it's not because I'm involved with iRacing, it's not because I'm passionate about it. It if it doesn't suit them, they criticize. And instead of how many times I ask, even my community, I said, "Can you guys make up your mind? Do you want a simulator? You want a video game? You want a game that suits your driving style? What do you guys want?" Because to me, on correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but the whole point of iRacing is to be as close as possible to real life. I mean,
Absolutely.
the amount of money that goes to scanning the, like how much money the tracks charge for them to laser scan, because some of these other games they don't laser scan anything, they just design the thing so it's not perfect, you know. Um, and the cars, I mean, I know because I followed a couple cars that iRacing did. Um, the amount of money, the people that like all these cars, somebody, correct me if I'm wrong again, Greg, from iRacing, or not just somebody, a few guys, they go physically to the place where the car is.
Yep.
Well, then you tell us, guys, you have the V8 supercars in Australia, you have the stock cars in Brazil, you name it. And iRacing is an American company, so I think there is a lot of I think sometimes we just need to be a little bit more thoughtful when we just, like you said. I mean, I'm the worst. I just got yelled yesterday by my team because I got into a little argument in Portuguese, guys, so you're not going to get a kick out of it, but on Instagram, because I had a really hard time in Stock Cars Brazil the last 3 years. And when I decided that it was it's never one person's fault. I mean, I think it was a combination of everything that I had there, the team, my car, myself. Well, when I decided to leave because I'm full time and McLaren now, the sponsor took the car to another team and they hired a really talented young driver. Well, sure enough, first race of the Brazilian stock car was yesterday, and that car won the race after 9 years. 3 years that I was in, and of course, you can imagine all the coaches and the internet had their opinion about, thank God the old guy left, and then I got into it. So I would say, um, as far as the iRacing goes, I'm not defending them, but I think we need to be fair. And if you don't know what you're talking about, sometimes you might as well not through. I think it's not because Greg is here. People also ask me why I don't actually try other platforms, which I've done it, but I'm committed to them. I don't have a lot of time nowadays actually to keep trying other things. So
You got a real job.
yeah, unfortunately, I have a desk and a 9 to 5 job. So anyway, I want to get here. I'm one of those guys that Greg says I want to come here and have just you know get the fix setup and go race. I mean, I'll let David talk about how many hours Dave and I spend buying setups, developing setups, getting coach sessions.
Yeah.
I mean, remember that every Monday night, it's okay, we'll do the
Yeah.
first, and it was different times. Even David now, I mean, we, was through the pandemic, and
Yeah.
and then, I mean, I have to say, I was a lot better then because the more that you do it, the better you get. But
Yeah. We was
that's
investing a
it.
lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's just you know, it's a comment just because I told Greg that you can see from even yesterday's post, everybody's excited. I mean, if you guys saw my comments, I said it's gonna be a love and hate relationship. I can tell you that, but this is the real life thing. You
Yeah,
know, like, go ahead.
I want to double down. If you drive this like video game, Rain, you're going to go on the forums and say it's broken. You're going to have to learn. Nobody's done what we've done here. I mean, I absolutely stand by that. We have built Rain from first principles and the interaction between the water and the surface and the rubber and everything. I mean, the cool thing about laser scanning is all the puddles are where they're supposed to be. We don't have to fake it. It's there. It works. Right?
And again, I think that sometimes we drivers, because that's what a lot of the iRacing development comes from. Look at Dale Jr. I mean, I told Greg the other day. I think if I can be half of Dale Jr. is for iRacing and NASCAR, how they really are tied together to IndyCar, which we're trying really hard, and finally. By the way, disclosure, iRacing was never at fault. It was 100% IndyCar's fault, and they got told. I begged. Not the point. We're back. Let's not talk about it. But like when we try to tell people something, it's not because I don't think anybody on iRacing wakes up and says, you know what? Let's make the forum go ape shit. We're gonna make the cars bad. And I I hate to see it because the amount of time everybody spends, and it is like, oh my gosh, like you guys ask for the rain for we ask for the rain for how many years? And sure enough, tomorrow, let's go watch. There's 90% of the people happy and 10% the same. Wow. But those 10% or sometimes 50% of those guys never even driven a race car in the rain. So how can you criticize something that you've never done? And that's all I'm saying. It's I see people complaining about, oh my gosh, the draft on the GT3 is completely off. When was the last time did you race at Daytona? Did I see you there? Oh, this tire model is crap. Whoa, guys, honestly, maybe, and Greg can say that because we talk. I ask him a bunch of questions. They don't get it right all the time either, and they need to fix it. But it's a little bit more complicated it takes maybe a little longer. But do you really think when Michelin came in and we're driving, so you guys understand, we won the 24 Hours of Daytona with the Riley prototype. What nobody knew was the engine that was in that car. It was the 4GT engine that they're developing to win the 24 with the 4GT the following year, because that was the plan. And then Michelin comes and gives us a different tire, and it was terrible. And then we're trying to ask for we don't have it anymore because so those things do happen in real life as well. So when I know some people are just curious about Leon, si no quiere que yo hable, te vas para otra live, no tiene problema. People are like, oh, can we take the spray off? Well, not really. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're driving in the rain, and in Detroit, the rain's a lot. Man, I can't see anything. Can we turn it? So anyway, I think we'll be just chatting a lot. But any other cars, guys, before we go?
I gotta head out here in a moment. I don't know if you know, we got something happening tomorrow.
Really? What's happening tomorrow?
Something's going on tomorrow on iRacing.
Okay. So, well, Greg, I'm gonna thank you, man. I'm gonna thank you so much for.
Well, thanks for having me. This is
again.
We gotta do this more often.
Yeah, we do. I mean, thanks for the opportunity. I think probably a lot of people are pissed to ask why this bald, big nose can streak. See, I don't know if you saw one of the comments on Instagram. The guy says, "This is so unfair. These guys are getting an advantage before we all do." And I replied to him. I said, "I know, man, but when you're playing for the iRacing World Championship that pays $10 million in prize money, I'll take the advantage." So anyway, Greg, thank you so much. D, you're gonna stay a little bit. I want to keep you awake a little more.
Yep, I'm here. Greg, lovely chat with you, mate.
Greg, thank you so much, mate. Thank you.
Get on iRacing tomorrow. Have a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to watch YouTube and Twitch tomorrow.
And if it's good, guys, it's all the iRacing guys that did it. If it's bad, it's Greg's fault. But
it is absolutely my fault if it's bad. 100%. That's I'm happy to fall in that grenade, and I'll sleep well tonight. That's how confident I am.
Appreciate it, man.
See you guys. Appreciate
thank
it.
you. All right, D, you're gonna love this, man.
Yeah, it looks good, man. What rain is this level on? Is this moderate
This
again?
is
It looks tricky though, man.
Yeah, this is actually the most rain you guys are gonna get. So the heaviest you're gonna get.
You want to try like a GT3 in light rain, like a bit more easier rain?
Sure.
Say something like Road Atlanta or something, whatever. I just want to see what it's like. Yeah, because this medium and heavy does look really tricky. Dun, dun.
Guys, in a little bit, probably David's gonna go to bed because it's really late for him, and then we'll talk.
I'll just keep moving my alarm later an hour. It's fine.
We'll talk. I mean, I'm gonna wake up in the morning tomorrow to work out, and I mean that's what I do now. I watch David's stream, but probably he won't be. He will be. Okay, let's do this, and then we can talk in Portuguese a little bit. Eu já falo em português. Tá, a hora que o David for dormir, galera, a gente fala um pouquinho. Tá aí, Barretinho? Tá vivo?
Tô aqui.
The rain will wash the rubber off the track. Yes. And guys, if you guys don't follow David, please go to his channel.
Thanks, man.
He streams on Twitch, on YouTube. If you ever, I mean, look how many views he has on. David was one of the first guys that taught everybody how to measure their FOVs, which of course I did not follow. I'm kidding. And he has a lot of those videos that really helps you especially if you're a beginner on iRacing. So check him out.
Cheers, man. Remember to change it to light rain. Enough of that moderate rain, mate. It looks treacherous.
I know it's.
But I do like the drop. I'm actually excited to see a race when it starts sunny, but it's been wet.
Thing is, if you know it's gonna rain, you better like come in for tires. Okay, light rain. We'll do that. Link for David channels. Please, we'll do that. Põe aí o link, por favor, but me and David don't have OnlyFans yet. We're working on it.
Only feet. That's all
Yeah.
we should do.
I'll have an OnlyFans. Instead to make money, I'll lose all my money because my wife will divorce me and take everything. So I might as well just not. Fog. Fog is fog, guys. I'll do it later. It's actually. You don't want rain and fog together.
We've had fog already, really, right? 100% humidity was always pretty dang foggy.
Why don't you create only Apex? That is actually a good call. It's more realistic to drive on wet or dry conditions in iRacing. It's pretty similar, but the rain is, I would say, it's a lot closer, in my opinion, than I thought. Just because it's so hard to make it. I mean, this alpha thing, every time you it changes your FOV every time because it doesn't
Yeah.
So the next thing we're gonna do, chat, we're gonna get David an ambassador on iRacing develop.
Let's go.
Because I need him to kick my ass even more.
I'll stay up. It's only 2:20. I'll stay up.
The freaking neck thing is on. I hate that.
Yeah, so I've been creeping that down. I know you've always been 0, and I used.
Oh no! Really?
No.
Oh my god!
Shut up, man. I'm not there yet. All right, I'm at like 35, 40. All right.
The chat, Dave. Everything I say, he agrees with me a year later.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Yeah. This is light rain. Wow.
Yep.
Thank you all for the follows. Really appreciate it.
This is a typical track, guys, that doesn't like the rain line. It's quite hard, especially here because it's almost a race line. We did obviously I raced here a couple of times with the LMP2, and it's really hard to find the right. So you have to try to avoid the puddles, like even in the straight line, like you kind of like search for what's the drier spot and you don't get, like Sebring, you get a wheel spin in the straight line because of the bumps. But see here, you try to brake where it's the most dry, and you might keep it.
Oh, so you'd actually recommend staying on that patch rather than...
Yeah, because you watch, the next lap I'm going to try to brake on the race line.
Yeah.
You'll see how much. But like here, for instance, you don't have a line, see?
Two curbs are a lot slipperier in the wet.
Oh yeah, and the paint.
Yeah, I bet the paint's learning about getting the wets up to temperature, and I think it's gonna be a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
And obviously then, as the track dries up, I assume you're gonna burn out the wets if you keep the wets on the dry line once it's drying too much.
Oh,
it's gonna burn
100%.
them up. So if you're still not ready for wets, like and you're out there, would you recommend just on the straights trying to cool them down by staying on the wetter line?
That would be the most sensible thing to do. The feature is not in the sim yet, so it won't help you here.
Okay.
But we're still probably so hard to do that. Because how much you're gonna cool the tires, we don't know. See, look, I'm gonna try to brake on the race line.
Yep.
See how slippery it is?
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and that is, that's the beauty, man. Like, it's so, and then you're gonna see somebody's like, wow. So the next lap you follow him, and then you're like, and that's how you discover, really. In real life is the same thing.
That ask spotter for report button in your black box, I assume you click it and he gives you a verbal indication of what...
Yep. And, you know, you can see, like, on the top here says new collision in news. I mean, there's a bunch of new
Alpha
features
things,
that yes, yeah.
So I assume
It's
we
like-
can map a button to that.
You can,
ask
yep.
spotter weather. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, because I'm not Jimmy Broadbent and then grabbing my mouse
But-
mid-race.
It's really realistic, closely. Leon Potts, thanks for the sub. But like, look, for instance, this first lap there is cold tires on the wet too. Like, it's no joke, like,
Yeah.
it keeps getting better and better as you run. Whoop. Looks like it's raining more now.
Chat's asking if you use adapters to connect your triple. Do you use the sim that kit, or you just got them connected to the 820?
What?
Do you use the SimLab kit with your triples, or do you just have them mounted to your...
No, I have the SimLab kit, yeah. Everything, like the whole thing, yeah. But we didn't. When David came here, I didn't have it until...
No.
So, and it was still perfect, but it took forever for us to do it. But a little trick, guys, that I think a lot of people don't do, once you align your monitors, put some tape in the back, like silver tape, not silver tape because it's too, like copper tape, they call. So I have it's taped so they stay together because sometimes so they don't move anymore. So once that's why they're so aligned. And people even ask me why I don't use the bezel free, and because I really for stream is really good. You remember we talked about this, but for me I don't. I'm okay with it. So
Yeah,
I
I'm okay
I
with it.
taped the back.
I suppose that
CD.
helps with light bleed as well. You don't get any light bleed between the monitors if they open up a
Correct.
little bit. Yeah, chat, if you've got any questions, I'll read them out to TK. English only, I don't really speak Portuguese just yet.
No, you have to read the Portuguese.
My wife's getting really good. She actually, hey Debbie, she's been translating a lot for me.
Can you stop the wiper? Yes. Look, you can put. It's like the auto wiper, like the auto blip and everything else on iRacing, but also you can put a button to turn on and off. So see here, for instance, you just try to like, sorry, but you try to look what is the most dry.
Someone's asking about a downpour option. If you're asking whether you could start on the track with it drenched but it be sunny, then yes, you could. We tested it earlier. You could start a race and it be nice sunny out, yet the track has just recently been soaked by a recent tsunami that left. So yes, it doesn't have to be raining for the track to start wet. Let's practice on formation lap warming wet tyres. I don't think anyone knows yet. We're gonna have to... Getting them warm is going to be a priority for sure, but overheating wets is also going to be a real big problem. If the track starts to dry out, you're going to have serious problems with overheating your wets. And TK tried going out on slicks at Road America when there was some dry lines out there, but that story ended badly.
Let's try a different line this time. Let's see if the outside. See? See, like you find it, see?
Debbie's asking, who is the better driver and why is it TK?
Nah, me. I have a lot of theories, and I live from the past. You're only as good as your last race.
Someone's asking if there's different speed settings on the wiper.
I don't know.
And so correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like there's no way to cool down wets. It did sound like that, yeah. I'm not sure.
No, that is no, that is not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Real-time tire information. I mean, I would have heard if that was going to be an option. How do you guys measure how much force on your wheel? That's the sensitivity. We usually just put our base up to 100%, run very minimal filters, and then in the sim, just eyeball it until it feels right for us. Me and TK typically run it very high, something we would like to change in the future. But yeah, so I don't know, it's on personal feel. Once you're up to, say, the 11 Newton meter, 12 Newton meter range, and yeah, it's all about personal feel. For example, in the Porsche Cup, I'm sure TK as well runs it as hard as he can handle it.
Depending on the car, yeah.
Yeah.
Like in some cars, you have a much lighter than you have to. David and I have the exact same settings. We actually just rename it so people can look for it. But on the SimiCube, if you go online, but then you get into the game, then you can run as.
Yeah,
you can run different.
You can just adjust it. Yeah. So in the LMP2, I usually go up, which reduces it. In the Porsche Cup, I absolutely crank it on until it's the most I can handle. water accumulate at the bottom of the track? It does, yeah. We have used Motec, yeah, but VRS is just a little bit more convenient. That's a good question, Tika. Tony, do you have experience with brake fade in IRL endurance races? Do you think it would be a good addition to iRacing?
Sorry, say it again.
Brake fade over long distance, like endurance
Oh,
racing.
all the time.
Would
Which,
you like to see brake fade in iRacing?
guys, there are so many things that, yeah, as a real driver, yes. But I'm not sure we have the right equipment, like even on our pedals and to like, because also how you set up a brake fade. You know what I mean? Because when it happens, you don't have like it's the same all the time. Because if we're gonna start doing that, then should we introduce mechanical failures, like an engine blew up in the middle of the race? You know, like stuff that really, I don't know. Maybe the answer is no.
You do get a puncher, believe it or not. In iRacing,
Yeah.
you can get a puncher. If you run the tyre down to 0%, you get a meat ball and your car will be awful to drive, and it's a very simplified implementation of a puncher. But yeah, when you put a tyre on, the meat ball will instantly go.
The more that I drive, the fastest I'm going.
Person asking about open wheel helmets. Greg said it is coming. There's an update to open wheel visor vision.
And the rain comes. It will be. The track has zero grip, and the rain comes. You will be able to probably drive in the race line a little bit, but no racetrack, even with zero rubber, which never happens. We call it green track, but that is always a little. If you look every track, you can kind of see it a little bit where you're going. So there is always a little bit of rubber, so it's always going to be more slippery. LMP2 and back. Come on, man. Closey, come on. Now you're making things impossible.
We don't know about an Interlagos update. We don't know about track updates until they happen, is the best answer I can give.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think we get an Interlagos update, guys. To be honest, like I was saying, it's so expensive. So expensive. Well, guys, I'm gonna answer some questions in Portuguese before we go to bed. I'm not trying to kick David off, but it's late.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. TK, thanks for having me on. Everyone, nice chat.
Tomorrow, David will be streaming. I would love actually. Please follow him. Go check his stream. What time are you streaming tomorrow, more or less, D?
Probably around 3-4 o'clock to just so I'm around when it goes
your
live.
time, right? Or
yeah,
our
and then
time.
I'll stream for probably about 10 hours.
I mean, I will love to for you guys to go there. I will be there probably. I'll be probably at work trying to like sneak out, but I would love to hear David's opinion. And guys, thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I didn't answer all your questions. Brazilians, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Gente, peraí que eu vou falar com vocês. And let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Criticism, a valid and constructive criticism is always welcome. But we ask for this for how many years, D?
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting.
Right.
I can't wait.
So, GTP, I don't think they have it yet. Greg said whatever cars. I don't remember, to be honest. Which ones
GTP's got rain. All
they
the
have
Imps has got rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, cheers, mate.
All right, D,
See
cheers.
You, we'll
See ya.
chat tomorrow.
Yep.
Later all. Cheers.
See ya. E aí, chat? Caralho, muita coisa fala só inglês, hein, velho? Porra, Barreto.
Não, mas eu traduzo tudo que foi falado aí pra vocês. São 2h40 de live em inglês, eu traduzo pra vocês. Amanhã tem chuva no Reis.
E aí, gente? Conta pra nós, o que vocês acharam? Tá chovendo pra caralho. Ó, o Arieles aí, ô Barreto.
Pode ser dedo aí também.
Eita. Ó, Febeiro, ô Gustavo Arieles, se você quiser, ele consegue entrar no nosso Discord ainda? Ou você cortou ele, Barreto? Fala aí, Barreto.
Deixa eu ver.
Chega aí, cai, Gustavo.
Ainda tem ainda.
Chega aí, mano. Aí.
Ora, pai, ainda Barreto esqueceu de cortar aqui, moço.
Não,
Cortar a linha
imagina.
telefônica.
Imagina.
Não esqueci não, peraí. Pronto. Agora arrumei.
Volta ele aí, mano. Ai, caralho. Bom, e aí, o que vocês acharam? O que você achou, Ariel?
Ah,
De ver.
vai diferenciar mais a turma, né? Eu acho que isso vai ser bom pra galera na parte da técnica, né? Essa mudança aí de seco pra chuva, isso tudo vai mudar muito a estratégia também de endurance, né? Vai ter mais coisa em jogo do que só o próprio ritmo, né?
Então,
Fazer um
uma coisa
setup
que vai, que os
pro
caras,
endurance, né?
exato, que vai precisar, vocês vão precisar pensar é o seguinte, chat. Velho, eu vi um monte de gente perguntando, tinha uns caras mais em inglês do que em português. E o tire model do GT3 no seco? Bicho, nós estamos falando da chuva. Quer que se foda o tire model? Não sei se mudou, se não mudou, não sei. Uma coisa que vocês vão precisar pensar numa corrida de endurance, por exemplo, o Greg já falou que Sebring vai chover, velho. Vocês ouviram ele falar, né? É, não dá pra fazer, não dá pra mudar o setup no meio da corrida. Isso na vida real também não dá, né? Dá pra mexer em algumas coisas. Então os caras das equipes vão ter que fazer um acerto meio que híbrido, sabe? Um pouco pro seco, um pouco meio que no meio, que não vai ser tão bom pra um nem tão bom pra outro, que isso vai ser uma coisa bem difícil, né, Léo?
É, eu acho que, tipo assim, a galera tá ouvindo aí? Tá meio baixo
Tá,
o que
tá,
você
tá,
falou.
tá, tá sim. Pera aí que eu vou te aumentar um pouco.
É...
Manda bala.
Alô, alô, alô.
Aí.
Beleza. Então, eu acho que, tipo assim, uma coisa que a gente tem que dar, não sei se sorte ou azar, é que a gente não precisa mexer em calibragem, né? Porque, tipo assim, às vezes você precisa
Uhum.
aumentar a pressão do pneu e isso muda muito, né? O carro, tanto no seco quanto no molhado, né? Isso no real conta bastante. Mas vai ser interessante de ver isso aí. Eu acho que realmente não vai ser fácil, né? Andar. Fazer ultrapassagem também, você vai ter que realmente pensar 1000 vezes, né? Porque você coloca uma roda ali onde não devia, né? Você vai acabar levando três amiguinhos na frente junto, né? E às vezes é porque realmente não tem gripe, né?
Uhum.
Então tá sendo bem legal de ver tudo, acompanhar tudo isso daí. Acho que eles foram bem inteligentes, assim, de deixar todos os criadores de conteúdo fazer, a galera tá bem hypada, né? Tá um
Então,
puta
gente, isso é uma
ansiedade.
coisa. Exato, isso é uma coisa que assim. Eu sou o pior pra isso, chat. Vocês olharam minha corrida de sábado quando o Malone, lá em Watkins Glen, não me viu, me tirou. É... Bicho, tá aqui as luvas no monitor e tal. Isso vai ser foda. Se vocês estavam assistindo no começo da live, quando eu tava de LMP2 em Road America aqui, não deu pra ver nada. Eu freiei dentro e levei 6 carros. Isso aí, na minha opinião, é o que mais vai acontecer. É, precisa melhorar a luz de chuva. Então até lá vocês vão ver que eles já estão fazendo e tal. Mas vão soltar a chuva do jeito que tá. Se não largar entre os 3 primeiros, pega um Ariel da vida aí que dá 2 voltas limpas na chuva. Mas isso acontece na vida real. Entendeu? É, então é um negócio que, de novo, eu falei isso, eu tava na live do Ariel ontem, falei isso com o Barreto hoje. Eu não sei, se me perguntassem hoje assim, cara, o que você acha? Você acha que vai dar bom? Eu acho que vai ter uma porrada de gente que vai achar legal a primeira semana e depois, ó, vai vazar, porque é muito difícil. E eu não sei se a comunidade em si tem essa mentalidade de e a paciência de trabalhar nisso aí, entendeu? Então é uma coisa que Mas assim, pra você ver, né? O iRacing não tá cobrando nada a mais, nada. Então, assim, foi. Vocês pediram, tá aí. Não quer andar, não anda. Entendeu? Não tem jeito.
Assim, numa instância bem menor, né? Tipo, a mesma coisa do estoque, né? O pessoal reclamou, mas o carro tá aí, né? Tipo,
Sim,
quem
sim, sim, sim.
conseguiu
E o
treinar,
carro
conseguiu andar,
realmente
né?
precisa melhorar um pouco. A gente tá. Que não teve tempo ainda. Nós vamos melhorar o estocão. Já tem já um projeto. Mas, de novo, eu não
Não é
acho que vai
muito fora
ser.
daquilo ali, né?
Cara, pelo menos o meu carro não. Só chamar outro cara pra fazer o negócio lá, porque chama o Felipe Batista agora, ver lá o que ele acha, né, seu Carlos?
Que acabou.
Seu Carlos nem fala, que
Também,
ele
também com
é,
um chefe desse.
é, foda. Então,
É,
é, assim, vai ser interessante ver que a galera, como é que a galera vai reagir, entendeu?
eu acho que a gente não tá muito maduro o suficiente aí pra totalmente a comunidade, né? Vai ter bastante coisa aí. Tipo assim, protesto vai dobrar, né? Vai
Hum.
triplicar os protestos aí pro Nimo, né? Vai ser loucura.
Não, o Nimo é o cara que tá mais fudido nessa história, entendeu? Mas assim, é aquela coisa, é, você errou, tá? Porque você freou numa poça, tal, porque você não conhece. Você levou metade do grid. O metade do grid vai protestar. Mas qual a opinião de vocês aí? Se o cara, porque assim, na minha opinião, se o cara fez que o café de propósito, aí dá pra ver e tal, ok. Mas, bicho, vocês viram ali, eu larguei, eu não tava vendo nada. Eu freiei sem querer, mas levei todo mundo. Eu não sei se. Aí o povo vai reclamar que o Nimo não dá ban pra ninguém. Pode fazer o que quiser, entendeu? Isso é foda. Foda.
É. E tem pista que não tem como já passar no seco, né? Imagina você
Pois
pegar uma
é.
Brands Hatch da vida assim, né? É bem difícil e que nem a gente falou, né? Você vai colocar pra passar, você vai ter que acabar pegando na borracha ali e já era, né? Não tem muito o que fazer realmente. Mas é o real, né? É o que é. Então acho que tem que seguir assim mesmo. Não tem muito por onde.
Então, o Nob, o Greg falou que não vai mudar o sistema de safety rating, mas que eles estão de olho. Eles vão essa semana, pode ser. Ele, pelo que eu entendi, ele falou, ó, semana 13 vai ter muita chuva, a gente vai analisar e se precisar a gente vai, mas por enquanto não mudou. Beleza? Bom, 10 minutos para rodar 3 horas, Carlos Barreto.
É isso mesmo.
O Carlos morreu, velho. Ah, tá aí. O que mais? Perguntas, Carlos, você tem alguma pergunta aí?
Nenhuma. Tô de boa.
Caralho, cara, não tem nada de pergunta, chat. Cai mais ou menos quantos FPS? Cara, o Greg tava explicando aqui. Pra mim, eu não. Bicho, tava rodando aqui a 260. Ó, mas meu computador só não é mais pica do que o do Ariel. Que veio da NASA. E os caras ficam botando mais turbo lá.
Eu tenho uma pergunta.
Manda.
É, o pneu de chuva normalmente ele vai ficando slick, né? O quanto ele vai
Sim.
gastando. Isso você sente também assim?
Então,
Tipo,
a
depois
gente
de um
sim,
tempo assim?
sim, sim. Mas isso é uma coisa que ainda eles estão aprimorando. Ele não é ele é um pneu mais constante do que o da vida real, assim. O da vida real acaba antes. Mas ele
E se
vai
você estiver
acabando, sim.
andando, tipo, no seco, assim?
Mano,
Ele, qual a curva
não,
de deterioração dele, assim?
4 segundos. Pior. E a rega
Ixi,
não consegue guiar. Você andando no seco com pneu de chuva, parece que você tá andando na chuva de pneu slick. É foda.
entendi.
Barreto, antes, sabe por que eu atrasei de abrir a live?
O que a Nina fez?
Não, eu botei a Nina pra dormir. Quando eu cheguei aqui, eu fui ligar o ventilador aqui. Mano, saiu um cheiro de queimado que eu juro por Deus que eu achei que eu tinha botado fogo na casa. Aí fui ali atrás,
Nossa.
desconectei. E liguei pro Giba, né? Que é o cara que faz o simulador. E aí o cara tava tentando resolver. E aí por isso tava. Bicho, um cheiro, eu falei, fodeu. E eu não tinha um extintor aqui, tava lá fora.
Vixi.
Ele colocou Hypercar na pista de Le Mans e rodou. Do quê? A pressão do pneu não vai mudar. Não tem, Jonas. Informação do pneu em tempo real. Mas tem um monte de app que faz isso aí, não tem?
Hoje em dia, cara, não tem. É
Não?
meio que no real, assim, né? Você pega a pressão na hora que para, né?
Hum.
Não tem, tipo assim,
Fog.
andando o quanto tá gastando. Só realmente a temperatura do pneu, né? Não o desgaste.
Entendi. Vocês querem fog heavy ou fog light? Gente, não tem rain and fog, tá? Ou só vai ter neblina ou só vai ter chuva. Vocês querem ver o quê? Vontade de correr na WEC? Cara, eu tenho vontade de trabalhar hoje em dia. Eu já corri demais de ano na vida. Tem chuva à noite? Sim. Vai ter setup fixo e aberto. Vamos de heavy fog para light rain. Vai vocês foderam, hein? Eu não sei se é assim. Vamos ver. Chuva de noite? Ah, como assim, Mori? Já foi, caralho, heavy rain. Quanto você acha que gasta de. Olha, ó. Ah, fog e rain. Olha que legal. O que mais que vocês querem? Um, um pino no banco do motorista? Uma venda no olho esquerdo? Aí, ó. Como fica a temperatura do pneu quando muda? Não tenho ideia. Eu. Como é que a neblina não tá muito? Ó, aqui, gente, tá quase seca, ó. Tá vendo? Essa pista aqui é mais foda do que se tivesse molhado. Na verdade, gente, parece que tá úmido, mas tá seco, tá ligado? Tipo, tá mais. Vamos ver.
Parece que começou a chover agora.
Exato.
Tipo, acho que vai ficando mais forte.
É, vamos ver se vai molhar mais. Aí, tá de frente. É, tá começando a molhar. Olha lá, ó. Fodeu. Tá molhado. Tá molhando. Oi. Agora molhou. Vendo, Jair? Tá começando a molhar, gente, ó. Ó, agora já molhou de vez.
Na outra sessão você tinha virado, acho que era 34.
34,
Essa aí você
é.
virou 27.
Essa animação dos pingos caindo ficou meio estranho. Eu acho que tá bem bom, viu? Vou te falar a verdade. Fogue à noite com chuva, o que mais? Com a mulher pelada, com a mãe? Vamos botar. Fogue à noite com chuva é a última e vamos embora. Não é aqui. Tem que voltar, né? De noite aqui. Night. Fog, rain. Agora fodeu, hein? Cara, e vocês sabem, ó, o Greg falou, né? Que ia sair amanhã. Tinha um risco de não sair amanhã a chuva, depois de tudo que a gente fez. Aí vocês iam matar nós de vez. Nossa mãe, velho. Agora fodeu, hein? Pera aí que eu vou até apagar a luz aqui. E ver. A neblina não tá ruim, viu, gente? Amanhã.
E o Forte da manhã tá de pé?
Vamos, lógico. Eu só consigo de noite, né? Vocês vão estar ao vivo já, eu chego. Eu só chego da oficina no final do dia, mano.
Se bem que deve demorar essa atualização ainda.
Cara, eu acho que vai demorar um pouco mais, sim. Mas de noite a gente virou mais rápido que de dia. A pista tava diferente. Bom, gente, eu acho que é isso, né? Deu pra divertir, vocês entenderam um pouco. Acho que vocês vão curtir pra cacete amanhã. Vocês vão ficar puto pra caralho. O meu conselho é o seguinte, ó. Vai ter um monte de gente criando os for fun, que nem o Ariel falamos, né, Barretinho? Nós vamos fazer e tal. Que assim
Sim.
você fica puto com os teus amigos. Senão vai ser foda no começo. Ainda mais agora, velho, no começo. Eu vou falar assim, pela experiência que eu tenho de andar na chuva. E, pô, eu tô fazendo isso aqui já faz um tempo, né? Que vocês sabem que a gente trabalha com os caras. Então, as primeiras 2 vezes que eu andei, mano. Mesmo eu, tô dizendo assim, não alguém vai. Os caras. Por exemplo, o Casey. O Casey, velho, eu nunca tinha andado na chuva na vida. 3 dias que a gente ficou junto aqui, o moleque dominou. Entendeu? O Ariel não vai ter problema, tá? Mas vai ter uns caras que. Esquece. Eu vou falar. Se quem quiser fazer oficial, que tiver a manha na chuva, se eu fosse você essa primeira semana, eu largava do box. Entendeu?
É.
Mas essa semana não perde hate, então nem safety hate. Taca pra dentro.
Ah, sim, sim,
É,
sim,
não, essa
sim, sim.
semana não vai ter pista. Não sei se vai ter pista com
Não
chuva
vai ter,
esse
não, não
ano.
vai ter, não vai ter. Ele falou que não ia ter. Bom, é isso, galera. Onde vamos, hein, Carlos? Você vai abrir
O
live,
Tyson
Ariel?
tá ao vivo.
Não, hoje eu vou
Não.
descansar.
Então vamos para o Tyson. Só hashtag cabeça de pica, tá tudo certo. Tá bom? Gente, obrigado, Ariel. Valeu aí por ter vindo aí.
Valeu, que isso. Tamo
Galera,
junto.
valeu. Tamo junto. Amanhã teremos uns forfã aí. Vamos ver se a gente pega o Ariel, a galera da equipe, da nossa equipe e mais quem quiser aí, tá bom? Valeu, fui, abraço, tchau!